shit. Zoro didn't know. Bandana. Zoro didn't know shit. He didn't know. This buddy thought that he was still using armor Haki. He didn't know. He had no idea. How can he tap into another level if he had no idea what the hell was even going on?
Yo,
Yo,
what's going on, brother?
what's good, man? How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm yelling at Chad about Zoro.
Nah, bro,
What's going on, man?
you're good, bro. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I just started my stream up too, man. So I guess
Okay,
we're
man.
yeah, I guess we're both gonna be streaming on different platforms. Are you simulcasting right now?
Yeah, I'm simulcasting right now. I'm simulcasting
Oh,
on YouTube and I'm simulcasting on Twitch. I'm gonna probably start doing other simulcasts in the future because I really want to do on Kick too. So,
oh,
yeah, what's up?
don't. This is mainly you're gonna be talking with other Raikou lords, right?
Right, yeah, right up to the mat.
The reason being that don't you think you should go up to the room above, which is specifically reserved for the Raikou lords and
Oh, the Great Hall Lords. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, just so that you don't get any of the.
I know you're right. You're right. Try. Okay, fair enough. You're right. You're right.
I'll put you guys
Alright.
up. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right, we're set. Yeah, I forgot. I'm in the wrong damn. Sometimes I forget the Discord like areas. Okay.
Nah,
Yeah,
you're good. You're good, brother.
Yeah,
You're good.
All right, but I mean, yeah, I was kind of because we were talking. I was talking to Eric and JD and King Recon before earlier today,
Yeah.
and it felt kind of good getting back to like that old 2020, 2018, 2017 style where we just did kind of all got together, just yapped about One Piece for like hours. It felt pretty good.
Yeah,
I do
that's
it with like my subs, but I don't do it with like any of you guys that much anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was aiming to do with this, cause so
Mhm.
I kind of did something like that. I did something like that like 2 weeks ago. I just randomly started streaming and
Mhm.
ended up having like 300 fucking viewers in there. So I was like, okay, well, obviously there's still some type of demand. There's still some type of want from the fans, from the guys. So,
Absolutely.
um, we were just in there. We were just shooting the shit, bro. Just talking One Piece for like 4 hours, bro. I hadn't talked
Mhm.
One Piece that long in so long. So I was trying to do something like that this weekend. I kind of want to make that like obviously it can't happen every weekend, right? But
Right.
we got more years in the past or more years behind us than we do in front of us for One Piece.
That's the
So,
thing, yeah. So,
so
I mean, if it's gonna be the time to do it, the time should be now. I
yeah,
mean, even the
exactly.
anime, like there are things that are coming up for One Piece, like the live action. You have the One Piece, but for the manga, like the primary material, it's like, well, this is like the bread and butter that we focused on for so long. And I mean, I think we only have Eric kind of made the point we maybe have like 3 arcs left after Elbath potentially, and then that's that. That's a wrap. So I think it's possible we have maybe like 4 or 5 arcs, but outside of that, we're done.
Well, you said outside of outside of Elbeth and the
Yeah, no,
final
like
war.
outside Albath, like maybe there's like at most like 5 more arcs and that's it.
I would even
At
say that's a
most.
stretch. Yeah, I would even say that's a stretch.
I think
Five,
kind of like depends. Yeah, because
five is kind of crazy. Cause like
I
look,
think it depends.
how
Go ahead.
many how many years do you think are left of One Piece? So before we get down to the nitty gritty, let's start here, right? And hopefully this will be the last time we have this year's conversation. Um,
It won't be, but
yeah,
you know it won't be.
it won't
You know
be.
it won't be. Yeah.
But no, realistically speaking, right? Um, realistically speaking, how much longer do you think we have One Piece? How many years?
My guess is that I'm thinking that Oda wants to end this by around at least 2035. Maybe 10 more years that he can muster up, and that's it.
Bro,
The only
you
reason I say that is
think?
because, yeah, because listen, hold up. And listen, here's the thing. Oda, I think, is taking a lot more time to finish the story because he's doing outside shit. He's working on the live action, and we saw what happened. Like I think 2013, or no, 2023 or 2024. He
Yeah.
was going to Cape Town. He was going back. He was taking these hiatuses, taking all these breaks. And
Hmm.
so Oda, if he's gonna do a lot of side content now, that's because we know, I think now for sure that they're gonna pump out more live action content over the years. So if they're gonna do that, that means more Oda's time. So if
Yeah.
Oda's gonna spend more time doing that stuff, that means less chapters on a yearly basis, which means a longer window. So that's what I'm saying. And then also, I think Egghead Island, I think, was even longer than Enies Lobby in terms of the years. So it's like, and that arc in terms of number of chapters, I think is shorter, but it took way longer to get that content done.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then Oda's gonna probably be again. It sounds crazy, but I think 10 years is what he has maxed out, like max, like he's done after 10 years.
I think. I think. So if we do like 5 years, that will put us. I think that. So here we've been in Elbath for about a year, right? Give or take.
Yeah, I think so. Shoot, has it been? Damn, maybe you're right. Yeah, I think you're probably
It's
right.
been
Let me
like
check
a.
real quick.
I think it's been like a year, give or take. So I say at the very, very, very least, Elbath is gonna go on for at least another year and a half, right?
Okay, so at least another year and a half. So 2026, 2027, like
Yeah,
early 27 is when we end it. Okay,
yeah.
okay, I can buy that.
So I say we still got at least a year and a half, right, of Elbath, okay? So
All right, cool.
then this puts us in like the 2027 range. So then you factor in how long the final arcs are of like shonen series, right? It's gonna at least be
Long.
3 to 4 years, or 3 to 5 years for the last arc. Like, look at Bleach, look at Naruto,
Mm-hmm.
Toriko. The list goes on and on.
Right, I'm
Um,
sure 10 the longest arcs for sure. But the question is, will be in the final arc after Elbath? That's the question. I don't think we will be.
well, it just depends on what you think is like the roadmap for the Straw Hats and like for Oda, right? So there's like realistically, there's only one thing left to do to get to the One Piece, okay? And that one thing can be honestly at any given point for the Straw Hats, okay? And what I mean by that is, right? So we've we've gotten those chapters. We've gotten a couple of chapters
Mm-hmm.
in recent memory that have covered up, like with their one chapter, have covered up like a good 10 to 15% of the story of One Piece. The chapter
The Miro
that
was one of the biggest ones, I think.
yes, that's one, but the one that I'm speaking of in general, right, or the first one that comes to mind is
Mm-hmm.
when Inarashi is talking to the Straw Hats and he reveals to them the
Oh yeah,
secret
yeah, yeah, yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
the road poneglyphs, or about the
Mm-hmm.
poneglyphs, and how there's four red ones that mark,
Yes.
an X marks the spot. Bro,
Yeah.
that chapter right there, and people call me crazy for saying this, bro. That is at least 15% of the story of One Piece, because not only does it give you, not only does it tell you how to get so look, before that chapter, how did you think that we got to One Piece? By sailing all the way to the end of
I mean,
the
I
Grand
had some
Line.
crazy. So I'm not even because like it took me too long to get through all my ideas. But I had multiple takes on what could have happened now to get to One Piece.
Well,
I had multiple.
I get you, right? But what I'm saying is like the general consensus to what people like your casual, right? Thought
Right.
when they're reading the story of One Piece is like how, the way that they get to the One Piece, or they get to the last island, Raftel, is sail all the islands of the Grand Line, and you finally get to the last island,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that chapter showed us that's not the truth. You have to get there by finding, by the points that intersect with the road poneglyphs. Okay.
Right.
Then also that dream ties in Nami's, Robin's, and fucking Luffy's all together. Luffy has to fight the Yonko to
I don't
get
know about
those road.
Nami's, but Robin and Luffy's for sure. Yeah.
Well, I say Nami's because Nami wants to draw a map of the world, right?
Yeah, but
So
that's like also corresponding. Let's say things like, hey, we have to go and find the North Blue and stuff and draw lines there and South Blue and plus the map. The world's gonna probably change after we also get the One Piece treasure too, because you got the war levels probably decrease somehow. Once that happens, you're gonna have like there's I see what you're saying. Ultimately, you are right. But Nami's things is probably gonna be like montage or something, and like a series of chapters
yeah,
because you just can't have her go to
it
every blue
it's
on the
yeah,
page.
it's not gonna be something that we see her do on screen. What I was
Right.
just getting at is like, okay, cool. Like she'll be able to actually map out Raftel on the map, and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got chapters like that that cover up a wide margin of the story. So I think that that can happen honestly at any given point, to whenever Oda decides he wants to throw in the last road poneglyph for the Straw Hats, and then
Well, I
who
think
has it?
we
You
don't
know,
know, but
yeah,
probably Gabon. If we believe that he's the man marked by flame with that scar on his face, then he could be the man. So at the end of the arc, we could see Gabon just give him the rope poneglyph because it's hidden, let's say, somewhere in the heaven area of Elbath. And then here you go, here's the last rope poneglyph, and now you have the path to One Piece. So it could be happening at the end of this arc. But something that we have to kind of know here too is that Oda himself has kind of stated that he's really bad at gauging the timeline of how the arcs or story should flow. He's really bad at doing that. He said before time and time again. So like he's had the whole like 81% bullshit when we were on Whole Cake Island. It was like, well, we're not even close to being 81% done with the story, Oda. Or
yeah.
let's say, hold on, give me 1 second.
No, you're good, bro.
1 second, yeah.
You're good.
Hold on. Yeah, I know. All right, yeah. So the what was that? So basically, like you have Oda being wrong constantly about how or when the story's gonna end. He's always misgauged it entirely, and then also with Oda too is that Oda takes longer time to get things done now, and it feels like even though let's say we have let's say we do get the last report at the end of Elbath, there's still going to be a process of things having happened. Let's say we have to get involved with government stuff. We have to have a situation where we have Sabo meet with Vivi and Luffy too. So even though we find out about Loadstar's importance, we can still go to Lodestar for another thing that is not necessarily One Piece treasure specific, but we still go there regardless. And then we have things that have to be taken care of there. So it's like I'm not necessarily saying that okay, we're gonna have like 3 major arcs before we get to the final war, or let's say you're fighting Laugh Tale, but we could get like Zoe type arcs for sure, where we have these sort of mini journeys, particularly if we don't get the low poneglyph on this island, and then what they said about the low poneglyph be on a ship, like this all black ship, when Kuzan and Blackbeard were talking about it. Okay, if that's the case, then we need to find this person. Where's this person at? You know? And then, so that's its own arc and deal with that person.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it all depends on how Oda wants to do it, right? I think at the very least we probably have 3 arcs left in the story.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because obviously you have to guarantee like the final war, you have to guarantee the Laugh Tale, and also you have to guarantee probably the flashback. I'm guessing the Void Century flashback. So those are like guaranteed arcs. You can argue.
So let me ask you this, right? Let me ask you this: do you think that we're gonna get a full arc for Laugh Tale?
I mean, well, we should. I think at least because I think that it's gonna be. I think it depends. So if Laugh Tale is going to be the battleground for the final war or a part of the final war, then I think for sure it's gonna be a full arc. Especially, let's say even if we get we probably should get a Void Century flashback too, either around Laugh Tale or on Laugh Tale. We have to get at some point as well because we have to get the full details of it all. So that I think is when we should really. So that should be a full arc. That should be like a full 2.5, 3 year arc. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, how do you feel about Laugh Tale corresponding with the Final War arc? Like whatever the Final
cool
War arc
as
is.
Long as I'm cool with that as long as you don't have too many. Honestly, I'll keep it a stack. There's a good chance that the Final War will be happening after. I mean, before we go to find the One Piece treasure, because I feel like the way it should work is that it should be the last race for the pirates. The story's kind of been built up ultimately to where this is a pirate story, and I think if we're gonna have, let's say, one big battle for the One Piece between, let's say, the major pirate factions, Buggy's crew, Luffy's crew, Shanks' crew, and Blackbeard's crew, that I think is way better suited off for the finale of the story for the treasure itself. That I think makes more sense to me. And then you have the final war. Let's say if you involve Emu Company, if they're not a part of Blackbeard's thing, where the fuck, then you're gonna have that happening beforehand, because the pirates ultimately are the ones that are gonna change the world. That's what I think. I mean, One Piece is a story about pirates first and foremost. I know that you're a Rev guy, but the pirates matter the most in the story of One Piece. I feel like that should even
Yeah.
apply to the very end of the story.
Yeah, for sure. I
So
mean, just because
yeah,
I'm a revolutionary guy doesn't mean that I can, that I'm I'm gonna deny
that's heavy.
the facts, right?
True.
But hold on, real quick. Let me just say, yo, shouts out to everybody in the chat. Me and King are both streaming at the same time. King is streaming on YouTube and Twitch.
Shots to Matt Chat.
I am streaming on YouTube, so it's been a minute since we were able to talk about One Piece, and it's a good time to do so. I think
Absolutely.
Elbath is cooking, cooking up something nice right now, and then it's always good to talk to my boy King. So yeah, shouts out to everybody that's in the chat.
And it's been a while too since we've done this as well. So it's nice to kind of break that ice again. We've had these sort of like layers of scar tissue that have been building up, but we are
Yeah.
finally getting back into this kind of stuff. So it's pretty nice because we should do more of this, honestly. Honestly,
Yeah,
God.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And we'll, there may be some special people popping up. Some folks may rear their heads. I'm not gonna promise anything, but if not, then you got King of Lightning and Matt B here to entertain you,
Amen.
on a Sunday night. But anyhow,
Amen.
bro. So, uh, like, look, man, I definitely I'm picking up what you're putting down as far as the pirates like changing the world, right? But don't you think there are gonna be some other people, like some other important characters that are gonna be integral to that as well, right? I'm not saying the entire organizations that they
What do you
belong
mean?
to. So like I
Like
would throw
Vivi or something or Sabo?
I would throw Kobe in there. I would throw
Oh.
Vivi. I would throw
Mm.
Vivi in there. Maybe even Shirahoshi.
Oh. Well,
I
yeah.
would
Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
Blackbeard's in there too, and like Blackbeard is like yes, Blackbeard is a pirate for sure. But I'm a King. You're gonna be surprised or not surprised with this, but I think you'll like this, right? Uh, you
All right.
know,
Shoot from the hip.
you know how I've always been revolutionary guy. I think the world, or I've been on record since way back 2013 saying that the Gorosei are the final villain of the series,
Yeah.
world government.
Yeah.
Bro, it's Blackbeard. It's Blackbeard hands down.
Ah. Okay. Okay.
It is
Okay. All
Blackbeard
right.
100%. Okay,
I don't know about 100%, but I kind of
100%.
see what you're saying.
From
Yeah,
my
because
perspective, from how I'm looking at it, Blackbeard all day, all day.
he is, I think, set to be a more so the way I kind of viewed it, and I really agree with that idea too, because I think I prefer that over the Emu final villain idea. Because to me, it felt like Emu being final villain. Think about it. Emu was only like introduced in chapter like 900 some odd, like during the Reverie. And it's not
Yeah.
to say that okay, like Emu doesn't have that notoriety and onus in the story. It clearly does. It's very important to the story. But at the same time, Blackbeard meant a lot more to the readers as a whole for so many more like decades, years. And I think with Blackbeard, with the introduction of the whole like okay, Rocks had a plan on Emu itself, and BB has powers. He has ability to like absorb powers. I feel like it's just better suited to have BB actually like absorb Emu, so you kind of get like the best of both worlds. You get like Blackbeard and Emu kind of coexist in a singular body, and they come in as like the final adversaries for the treasure. But I, listen, shots to Randy Troy about this one too. I'm always cool with the idea of actually, well, we can get that, but also let's try and get that in conjunction with like a lot of pirate heavy shit. And I'm cool with the 4v, 4-way battle royale Davy backfight. I'm fucking cool with that shit.
Bro,
I think that'd be fair.
bro,
I think
listen,
that'd be hella heat.
bro, listen.
Absolutely. Buggy's crew, Shanks' crew, BB's crew with Emu in BB's like, soul, and Luffy's crew vying for the treasure on the last Davy backfight. Like, bro, well, let's cook. Absolute.
Bro, listen to me, okay?
Yeah.
Blackbeard, Blackbeard is going to take Emu out.
Yeah, I said, yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
so
I agree.
so Blackbeard is getting Emu all the way out of the paint, and Blackbeard is gonna become the king of the world. So I think where Roger or where Luffy has clearly inherited Roger's will and is gonna run with it and do something
Mm-hmm.
more with it that Roger couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing applies to Blackbeard in regards to Zebek. Okay.
Okay.
I think that Blackbeard is going or has inherited Zebek's will and is going to run with it. Okay. I think that Blackbeard is gonna go back to the Holy Land. Okay, after getting all of the ancient weapons. It's no coincidence that Caribou is going to
All?
Blackbeard. Yes, all.
Not all.
Well, okay, so
I think Shirahoshi's
maybe
off limits, honestly, and I think when
nah.
it comes to
Shirahoshi is going to be
Hancock's
the
off limits.
main one that he gets.
I don't think so. I think he's gonna get what's ever in the Holy Land already.
All
I think
right,
he's gonna get that shit.
all right. Look,
I
look,
don't
look.
think
Let
he's
me
gonna get Shirahoshi.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you why he's gonna get Shirahoshi. Okay, and then how it's all gonna happen. Okay, because I'm not just gonna throw you some shit like some shit that I'm spitballing off the top of my head. Like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna happen, bro. Listen. Caribou has been in the story, and from the get go, right, all the way back in Fishman Island, Caribou is talking about, yeah, I want to get to this guy, get to that person, get to this guy to give him this information, right? He's saying that this person will value this information, okay, and that person that he was always referring to when he has found out secrets of the world, okay, so finds out about Shirahoshi, then finds out about Pluton. Okay,
Right.
that person was Blackbeard. He was always trying to get that information to Blackbeard. People has been speculating on that since the very beginning
Yeah, that's
of
true.
like since the beginning of post time skip. Okay, so
You're not wrong.
Blackbeard gets that information. Blackbeard is one of the only people in the information in the world of One Piece that has the information that he has regarding those weapons. Okay, so the vision that Madame Shirley has, right? Where she envisions Luffy coming and destroying Fishman Island. That is not Luffy, King. You know who that is, right?
No. I mean, there's takes on that, but I mean, go ahead, shoot.
That is Katarina Devon. That's
I don't know how she gets Luffy's power. I mean, like Luffy's likeness, though. I don't know how she does
bro.
that.
The same way that she got, Shiki's,
Shiki.
or not Shiki's, Saturn's, bro.
Oh yeah, by touching him, right? But like that
Correct.
means that there has to be like until we get a conflict with BB and Luffy, I don't see how that's possible for her to get in contact with him. I mean, maybe there could be an op mission on that part,
Look,
but
King. Enough has happened for it to have already happened. They were on Egghead
what?
at the same. They were on Egghead at the same time that the Straw Hats were. Okay, they were at Egghead the same time that the Straw Hats are. I
So maybe
guarantee.
Katarina actually met Luffy at some point and actually touched him at some point, and then already has that
Correct.
like
Correct.
file on data.
Correct.
That's
I
already
I
in
I
the
think
hard
it's
drive.
very yeah. I think it's very possible. I think it's something that could have potentially happened off screen, and then we'll see it later in the future. It happening on screen, or when it happened off screen through like
I mean, I
a
think
small
okay,
flashback. You get what I'm saying?
but I see what you're saying. But that's a pretty crazy idea because when we think about what happened during the arc, there's no real time where she could have met Luffy. I think particularly too when Saturn runs into those two, Luffy I think is next to Sanji, and they're dealing with like Kizaru,
Hey,
while Saturn is meeting with or he runs into them before he becomes like a big Kaiju Titan dude. So I don't know, like at what point do you have Luffy run into like because I think when we see them on the hold on, time on, let me see here. By the time we see their ship near the side of the island, Luffy's already eating the food, getting back to full power. So it's like, oh no, I don't know about that.
hey,
That's kind of crazy.
hey. Well, look. Right. Don't get too caught up in when I say that it's happened. Right. When I say
I
that
mean, it kind of matters
that
because that makes sense, right? It's gonna
well,
make sense.
correct. It does. Blackbeard. Truth be told, right? Truth be told, if Katarina Devon did do it, she wouldn't be doing it with the intention to go to Fishman Island. I will say that because Blackbeard doesn't know about Shirahoshi yet.
No, that's fair. But
Caribou went with Katarina Devon and Van Auger back to the pirate island, or wherever, to meet with Blackbeard, right?
Uh,
So it's a very well possible chance that it didn't happen on Egghead, right? That would just be a part of my headcanon. But after Blackbeard finds out the information, okay, about Shirahoshi, and he's devising a plan, it's definitely going to come up that the Straw Hats, or that Fishman Island is the Straw Hats territory. So that would, like,
yeah,
it
it would
would,
force his hand to be okay. We need to pretend to be Luffy
yes, or
because
someone from the
we
Straw
have
Hats.
to make them believe that we're coming in there as the Straw Hats. I see what you're saying there. Like that's the owner for that stuff. So it's Katarina pretending to be Luffy. That
Correct.
she saw in the vision. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the problem is that we just have an issue of getting from point A to point B, where it's like you could imagine a scenario where instead, like let's say Luffy Company, they need to destroy Fishman Island because let's say Fishman Island is in danger or the shit, or let's say they're doing it because the Noah Ark is going to be their safe haven out of there. So everyone gets ferried to Noah Ark, and then
Yeah.
Luffy has to do it because X, Y, and Z reason. That let's say involves an ancient weapon or the Seekings are going amok. Who knows? But at the same time, if you get, because I do agree with you that Blackbeard should get ancient weapon for sure, but I feel like it's way better to him to get what we already have established on the Holy Land via getting Imu's powers. That's I think makes the most sense. I don't see him necessarily getting Shirahoshi or Wano, because Wano, like Zunisha has to break down the walls first for whatever reason, and then we can talk about awakening, the real Pluton. Yeah, Pluton. But I think the issue though is that it is kind of an ass pull, I think, to have Katarina in contact with Luffy in order to gain Luffy's likeness. Or if there's another way she can do that, like for example, let's say Caribou stole something off of Luffy, and then she could touch that item that belonged to Luffy and then transform into Luffy be the item. So it's like an indirect method. So let's say it's not permanent, or it doesn't last as long, or the hell. It could be some of that sort where it makes more sense, where it's not as ass-play, like, hey, at some point they ran into Luffy and then she warped in, touched them. It's like, wait, hold on, whoa. Like, we have to make that make sense. So that's why if I want to kind of give your theory any credit here, be like, okay, well, maybe it's through those means where Kaibu has something of Luffy's, and then she can transform into Luffy because whatever Kaibu has, they stole off of the Strat crew. That makes more sense to me. And that's if that's her powers work.
Yeah.
Which they could, because she's a mythical Zoan, so the paradigm, what she cannot do, we don't really know. So Oda could kind of mix it up like that. But that makes a lot more sense than she actually grabbed up or touched up Luffy at some point, when Luffy should be, again, at that point, I know you said it doesn't matter, but he's in Gear 5, he's kicking ass. I don't see how Kyrie comes in there and touches him. I just do not see it. I don't see it.
Nah, I feel you. There's no problem with that, right? But
Yeah.
what if Katarina has turned into someone else that Luffy trusts and touches him that way?
I mean, we could
Like it
get
does.
into
It
that,
doesn't.
but
It
like,
doesn't have to be Katarina just approaching
but
Luffy as
but
Katarina.
but Katarina and Bone Clear are the only two that we know that can transform other people like that and actually confuse other folks. Those are the only two people that we know can do that. So
Yeah.
that's why we kind of have to assume that it is Katarina in some way, that she was the one that was doing this and then we kind of cook from there. Because it kind of feels like, if anything else, that this plot point is better suited off. It's better suited off as like a more of a after everything's all said and done, where after everything's all said and done, Luffy does destroy Fishman Island, and then they ferry the Shin up to the surface because they have no need for Fishman Island anymore. So they destroy it as a sign of, we're leaving the past behind us, we're leaving these dark waters behind us, and now we're gonna live in the surface because now the world has changed after everything's all said and done. That's what I personally feel, honestly, because like we don't necessarily need to happen. Like, let's say, because yeah, that's what I would say probably is better off suited, because I'm not necessarily too concerned about. I don't see it being the case where they get Shirahoshi.
You don't?
Because it kind of fucks. Yeah, I don't, because I think it kind of fucks up a few things. I think it fucks up a lot of things that Luffy had established as a emperor, as a defender. Like it's almost like in the same vein as Robin, where it's like I don't see Robin ever get captured anymore because she has her friends there to protect her, right? And it
Yeah,
feels like in the same vein, Shirahoshi shouldn't be. She should be protected in a very similar manner, um, by everything like, especially after everything that happened on Fishman Islands. Like she gets captured again, like or this happens again. Like after what happened with the attempted capture by the celestial dragon on the Holy Land, she gets captured. Like shit. I mean, we could do that, but it kind of feels a little more redundant. That's what I'm saying. Like
bro,
I don't
getting
see her
captured,
being on BB's side, let
bro,
alone actually doing what BB wants. Like, hey, I'm gonna actually have you control the Sea Kings in my favor.
bro, getting captured by Blackbeard, that'd be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's crazy shit. But
Getting
but see,
captured by Blackbeard, especially for the use of her power. Whenever she's been getting captured before, it hasn't been for the use of her power. It hasn't been because people know what she
oh no,
is and what
for
she
sure,
can
for
do.
sure. Okay.
I think with Blackbeard, taking her specifically for that reason just adds, just so much more depth to it.
All right. So then, hold on.
Same thing
So
with
then,
him
how do
going
you see
back
him?
to Wano.
Yeah, let's say how do you see him getting Wano?
I mean, so I think this is what Blackbeard is going to be up to, right, for the next, for the foreseeable future on One Piece.
Mm.
Um, so I just once he gets the information from Caribou, I think Wano is the first destination before Fishman Island. Truth be told.
So how do we do that without Zunisha? Like Zunisha should be the key to getting Pluton. Like the borders have to come down first.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows that. Does he know that?
I don't think that's like with Blackbeard's power, I think that he would be able to overcome that pretty easily.
Nah. There's got to be some sort of trick or mechanism because I don't want to undercut Zunisha's main purpose on the story. Where hey, we have the hype of Zunisha needing it's necessary in some way to remove the walls of Wano. In comes Blackbeard, Quake, and they all tumble down. It's like that. I think I'm not really buying that sauce. I think it's got to be involved with Zunisha because you have to get Zunisha involved with Wano Country's borders going down. At least, otherwise, that's kind of completely shitting on what you wrote before. Like, oh yeah, like Zunisha matches not Blackbeard. Psych. Sure, but that's not. That's kind of cheeks. Kind of sucks. No, just quake it up and that's the end of the story.
Hey, bro, if
Huh.
if it's the fucking craziest quake that we've ever seen in the series, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nah, bro.
I think
I
I'd
don't
be
care if he's
pretty.
Nagi Master Jiro. Nah, bro.
I think
Nah.
I'd be pretty juiced.
Nah, bro. He can pull some Naki Master Jiro type shit. I don't give a fuck.
Bro,
No.
you would be creaming. Stop it. If he did
No.
some
But it
Master
would be
Juro
stupid,
stuff,
though. But it would be stupid. It'd be like, oh, yeah, for some reason now we're just going to completely obfuscate Zunisha's whole purpose in the story by having him just go quake quake and he just brings down the walls. Like it was the walls to West Germany or something. No, fuck that, dude. There's no nah. I can't buy it. If Oda establishes Zunisha as a core reason why the walls have to be brought down, then I have to just believe that's gonna be the case here. And we're not gonna try and ruin that by having BB come in there and do it himself. Um, Now maybe you could have a thing here where okay, they go to Wano country and they actually capture Momonosuke, and then they force Momonosuke to have Zunisha bring the walls down. That's okay. That's different. That's different. Okay, that's for sure different. But let's say, for example, even if they do get Shirahoshi, right?
yeah.
I don't know how you force Shirahoshi. I mean, I guess you could argue Laffy could hypnotize her, but I still have a hard time believing that it's going to be the case where they're going to be following her will when she's hypnotized. That's what I personally feel, but who knows?
I
I like
think
the theory though.
uh
It's just that, like, does he need all three? Like, if he has one, I think he said all three.
so
And
what I
all three
think
for
it
what?
is what I think it is because he's going to be the king of the world and
To begin the world by sitting on the throne. He doesn't
correct.
He doesn't need three weapons.
He doesn't need them. He doesn't need them. I just think that it's gonna add to his threat and what he represents. Um, I I can't fathom a reason why Caribou would or why Caribou stumbles upon this information and Blackbeard doesn't at least do something, right?
Mm.
To capitalize on the information that he's given.
No, I think he'll try for sure. I don't know if he'll succeed. That's what I'm getting at here. I don't know if he's actually going to succeed. Because think about it. It's
Yeah.
like, so in the arcs beforehand, like Wano Country, for example, Wano Country are kind of now like determined to protect themselves at all costs, no matter who comes in. And it feels like after Kaido did what he did, isn't it like really redundant and kind of like really missing the point of a lot of Wano Country kind of struggled with? If in comes BB and ruins all their shit, it kind of mitigates what they've established a lot of the story in that arc. Where it's like, oh hey, yeah, like we're gonna be doing our own thing. We're gonna be free. We're not gonna be under the tyranny of any other emperor or any other person. We're gonna do our own thing. And instead of doing the Miles Morales, we're gonna do our own thing. In comes BB and ruins your whole operation. That's like, oh, well, I mean, damn. That's why. I mean, think about it. Like, you could have, in theory, the elders could have gotten every admiral. Let's say they could have gotten Akainu. They could have gotten Fujitora. And they could have forced the walls down with some sort of magma shit, some sort of like meteor, like Majora's Mask moon type shit. They could have done that, but instead they're like, "Oh shit, the border's up. We can't do anything about that." And that was a good call. So if they can't do it, I'm like, okay, if they really want to, they could bring the walls down.
Mm-hmm.
But Zunisha is still a necessary component for the walls being brought down. Then let's wait until the walls are brought down, and then we can talk about BB coming in there and trying to steal the treasure or trying to steal Pluton from them. So I would kind of agree with you where, okay, if let's say you want to have BB come in there and steal it after the fact, because that's what you know he does, right? BB, even let's say as king of the world, his habit is to do what? Come in there on the on a side mission, no one expects it, like he's doing a flank, as per usual, he's flanking, and then he's going to try and ruin the operation on a flank play. So he tried to do something like that, where like, okay, the time is right for Wano Country to bring down the walls, and then the walls crumble. You have the reveal of the real Wano Country. You have Pluton revealed. Now here comes Blackbeard. Thanks, motherfuckers. We're gonna steal that shit. That makes a lot more sense to me, because you keep the purpose of Zunisha in effect, and then BB comes there anyway and takes it after the fact.
After
Which is
Zunisha
more akin to what
already
nobody
does
does.
the thing, yeah.
Right, that's what nobody does. Right. But Shirahoshi it's so much harder with Shirahoshi, dude. Because Shirahoshi, like, I'm gonna get the Sea Kings, I'm gonna dip. Like, they're way more like insular, under 10,000 meters of water pressure. It's like that's a lot of work for me to get Shirahoshi. It's a lot of work. Damn.
I think
But
that
I
there
do like
may
the
be
idea
a
that,
rescue arc for Shirahoshi or for Hancock.
Well, I remember we had that idea years ago, but I think we have to kind of get that up now, right? Because I don't see it happening anymore at this point.
Well, you don't think there'll be a rescue arc for Hancock?
No,
You don't think anybody's gonna get her, or potentially could?
bro.
She's too strong.
Rayleigh. Nah, Rayleigh's right there.
Yeah.
Rayleigh's right there. Like, you're thinking about a fucking dude with the like, Dark King Rayleigh. Like, that's work. That's a lot of work to get Hancock. I think that because I think we talked about that. I think we had that conversation a while ago.
Yeah,
say,
we touched
was that in the
on
middle
it
of
before.
Wano? Or yeah, we talked about it before. Yeah,
Yeah, we
and
touched
it's been
on
like
it.
6 years since then, and it feels like okay. Well, right now, it looks like. Honestly, it looks like the whole world government stuff might come to Luffy rather than the reverse. Because if world government if they're fighting against the Revolution Army and or Blackbeard right now, Luffy may not even give a flying fuck unless the kids get captured. If the Elbathian kids get captured, I think now he's gonna care, because the crew's gonna care. Particularly Usopp's gonna give a shit. Usopp's gonna give a lot of shits about that. So they may make a play because of that. If there's any rescue arc, it's gonna be for Elbathian kids. But Hancock is in a spot where she should be okay. Shirahoshi's in a spot where she should be okay, I think. Wano Country is more at risk, but I think Wano Country, if we believe in their power, then they should be okay. Damn, son. I mean, woof. Okay, like who captures Boa then? Who do you got capturing Boa?
Who captures Boa?
Mm, from really and Shocking.
It'd be one of the Holy Knights. It'd have to be.
Shit.
It'd have to be one of the Holy Knights for it to actually mean something.
Not like let's say Fujitora or something because he's MIA.
Nah, I say a Holy Knight because of the history.
Hmm.
So maybe it's maybe it's one of the Holy Knights. Or maybe Oda can write it so that the Holy Knight that does it was the family that had her as a slave.
Holy fuck, dude. And maybe that same family is also the amongst the family that made Guinea their wife, their eighth wife or something. So they're all kind of tied together.
Yeah, that's what I
But
would
yo,
say.
but
That's what I would
like,
say.
isn't that
If
like a
it if
lot,
it
Matt? Like, isn't that like that feels like a like if we take your word and okay, let's say we have 3 arcs left. That's a lot, man. We still have to go through a final war. We still have to go through a whole Void Century
yeah
flashback.
yeah,
Which is
but
gonna be one of the old end flashback probably. That's a lot,
yeah,
dude.
but this would
Damn.
this would be a part of the final war because if the holy like if word gets out that Hancock is captured or whatever, right? Or
Mhm.
however it plays out, Hancock or sisters, whoever the fuck it is, right? Um, when word gets back to Luffy, Luffy will it'll be written in the way that Luffy was already gonna go to Mary Joa anyway. Hancock being there is just like the little cherry on top.
Oh, okay. If BB does take Emu's powers, not something's happening soon,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be the reverse where instead of going to the Holy Land would bring its forces to the new world
Nah.
and try and why not? Because
Nah.
think about it. It's like okay, call me crazy.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm off base, but you let me know. I think that the One Piece treasure matters more than being king of the world, personally, because the One Piece treasure is the one thing that can actually change the world in earnest.
I don't know. I don't know because do you think Joy Boy found the One Piece or knew
I
anything
think that
about the One Piece?
either he found it, he created it, whatever was going on there. But my take is that the One Piece is probably what we see in the mural. I think it's that gigantic sun. I think it's the Eternal Flame. I think it is. I think it's infinite power, infinite energy, like verbatim, infinite. And I think it's because whether that power comes from another plane of existence, another dimension, how you want to work it out. But I think that's what it is. But when Vegapunk had his speech where he said, the person who finds the One Piece treasure can change the world, something to that effect, that I think puts the One Piece priority numero uno even over the Final War and King of the World. So like King of the World under the One Piece treasure, just how like Whitebeard, World's Strongest Man, he's under the Pirate King. And that's how I think it works, honestly.
Okay.
Because if Vegapunk is right
Hmm.
and the treasure can change the world itself, even if you are a king of the world, you don't have the power to really change the world like literally. But if the let's say the One Piece treasure, if the One Piece treasure can actually change the world literally, then and let's say it can manipulate the red line in some way, or let's say it can force the water levels back down so you have more content being exposed. Um, if that happens, then the world that you're trying to control is going to be uncontrollable. Because Emu, who right now sits on top of the world, sits on top of the throne, how does Emu control the world? Emu controls the world through not through some sort of crazy, infinite Tsukiyomi type shit. But Emu just has a bunch of dudes spread out across the entire planet, and they try and regulate the planet through military might and force. But they can't do it for the entire world because the New World says, "Well, f you, middle fingers up, and we're gonna do our own thing." So BB can try to do the same thing, but ultimately there's gonna be pockets of countries or pockets of ocean where they're completely independent. They just do their own thing. You control most of the world, but not all the world, right? And I feel like with Blackbeard, I think it's fair to say that if he does get Ancient Open Uranus, he gets Shirahoshi. Let's say he gets even Pluton. He has all the government assets. So he has the world. He has the Holy Knights. He has the Elders. He has the Seraphim. All the crazy Vegapunk York Tech. All of that is gonna be to try to get the One Piece treasure. That's yeah. All of that.
Okay. So, so do you think Emu has devil fruit powers?
Oh, probably, but I don't know if it's stuff for powers that are shit. I don't know if they're. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Even the you know,
What do you
'cause I don't know if
think? What do you think his devil fruit power would be? And then, do you think what he does, like the regeneration, do you think that that is linked to a devil fruit, or is that something completely different?
okay. There was a remember that old show back in the day called Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan?
Yes.
Emu could have something like that. In order to make it all make sense. Where Emu could have a Nura or he could have the Nyari Home power, which I think is a power that's possible. It could be the Abyss power for sure, but it or could take it more of a sort of demonic yokai-ish sort of way, where Nura had the power to kind of basically Nura had the power of the all 100 demons. All the 100 demons in the Demon Parade, Nura could utilize all their powers. And Emu, I think, kind of operates maybe you go in the same vein, where Emu could, let's say, grant powers to people because Emu has that, because Emu has like a stock room of 100 demon powers that are a part of its own original power. The immortality factor could be, let's say, because of Law's ability, because I think Ivanka was alluding to that, where Eva said that someone may have gotten immortality through the Obi Obi no Mi fruit, and the person probably could have been Emu of Niruna, so potentially. But I think it could be something of that sort, where in the mural they mention in the Harley text number 2, they mention that within the earth, like the earth god dwells and its devils like roam, some of that sort. Like they refer to that, and I think that could be like the awakening of the fruits, or it could be Emu actively doing something back then, or whatever Mu was at that point in time. Like it could, let's say, been Mu was different in form back then because of some like Orochimaru type shit. But either way, I think that Emu would have something like that, or the Abyss power, where in the Abyss you could store certain different types of devil fruits. And I know folks don't like this idea, but the powers that we see with the elders, they're not devil fruits per se. They're powers, but they're not actually devil fruits, because you don't have the no me whenever they're introduced. You have the Fangxi, you have the Gyuki, you have the Balkotsu, you have the like all these are powers that they have.
Yeah, they were all like
but
Japanese demons.
right, they're most like Japanese demons or demons of kinds. Like Cerberus is a demon, and let's say Greek in Greek mythology. So they're all demons, but they're never no me's. They're never fruit names. They're all just here's the power of the Fangxi, here's the power of the Bakotsu, here's the power of the Itsumade. But then never do they say the actual connotation. Whereas, well, let's say Gunko, with her power, it's actually the arrow fruit. They say it's the arrow fruit. But you don't get that with Shamrock and the Cerberus. They just say Cerberus. So, this is where I think we get to the other idea of maybe it's not actually different power, but maybe it's actual demon shit. Where,
Yeah, like yeah, I get you.
Look, would you buy the idea that there are actual demons that exist in One Piece, and like there's an actual underworld somewhere?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, it's like it'd be like demon magic or dark magic.
In a way, yeah. I think maybe you can say it's more like a like it's another plane of existence.
That
right?
shit feels like it feels like dark magic, the especially the way that the summoning circle
Mhm,
pops up with
mhm.
the flames and the black hockey and stuff, or the
Mhm.
lightning.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Yeah, bro. That shit felt like some stuff Voldemort would do or something.
Right, like the Horcruxes and that kind of stuff. Yeah, because
Yeah.
like the demon summoning type shit. Well, it's like, well, Emu actually takes someone's. Can't say it's magic. I don't think it's magic. I think that Emu, what they do seems to be magic, but it's not magic. It's actually like soul related type shit. You know, like Brooke said that. Okay, Brooke dies, and then Brooke comes back from the underworld. Brooke kind of proves then that there's an underworld.
Yeah.
Vegapunk says that different users operate on a different plane of existence. And you could argue, okay, there's another plane of existence somewhere that allows their powers to exist the way they exist. And they can tap into that every time they use their powers, some shit like that. And so I think that the soul component, too, is a part of that. That's the thing that when Zoro died, or he didn't die, but like when Zoro was near death, after the King fight, Zoro could have maybe seen a glimpse of that through death. You know, like he saw like a glimpse of the underworld, like on some like Makoto Shishio type shit in Rurouni Kenshin. Like he just fucking like, oh shit, like underworld.
Yeah.
Something like that, where it's like, okay, there's some sort of deeper like soul plane of existence type stuff where folks can tap into that stuff and use those powers. So is it possible where like when we see, let's say, Emu's powers, Emu's able to tap into the underworld and then take creatures or abilities that are underworld themed specific to the underworld and then bring those powers and give them to the people? So you get immortality, you get all these kind of things because the powers are stemming from the underworld itself, like the land of the dead. And that's not actual different powers, they're more like underworld powers. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, yes.
I
So
get
that's
you.
what kind of gets of Emu for sure. But what do you think?
I mean, bro, as far as Emu, I don't know if he has a devil fruit. Like I can't decide on that, but I definitely think like what he's doing is like magic
Mhm.
related or something.
Like
Because
actual man, fairy
yeah,
tale type shit?
yeah, because he like took it
I
away
hate
from
that.
Saturn, like he gave it to Saturn and then takes it back from him.
Okay.
Um,
What if I push the idea out that it wasn't mana, it was just his soul? But like Saturn was alive for so long, for like 400 plus years,
yeah.
maybe. And then once Emu rebuked his soul, Saturn lost his immortality factor, and then his body returned back to normal. So, I mean that because he was 400 plus years old, he became a mummy and died.
Yeah, that's fair. I just feel like that would be like the only thing that I can deduce that to being is magic.
It's not magic, it's
Unless
soul power, baby.
yeah,
There is no
I
wizards,
get you.
there's no
It's like
witches,
Brook
no
is
Wingardium Leviosa.
it's like
Ooh, man.
to Brook and Big Mom.
Right, that's not magic though. That's soul, because it's
Yeah,
soul.
yeah.
And soul, One Piece matters a lot with soul power type shit. They've always done it before, but like that was never really like an actual power per se. Or like you need different powers to tap into that kind of stuff, or you need to have like strong, like I guess your hockey matters too, I suppose. But things of that sort. Like there are some folks that have a strong soul connection too. Like I think naturally you could argue that.
So do you
But
think that that's how Emu is able to control Gunko? It's like
yeah,
he's controlling her soul.
yeah, I think that Emu probably okay. So when we have the pictures in front of Emu, we
Mhm.
have Luffy, Blackbeard, Shirahoshi, and we have Vivi. I
Yeah.
think that was like Emu's like they gave those pictures because they could have been they're all candidates to be the next host for Emu's soul or Mu's soul. Where like right now maybe Mu is controlling, let's say, Nefertari Lily, like Emu's Vivi's great grandmother, right? Or well, great grandmother, whatever, okay, ancestor. And let's say Gunko is a person that is, for some weird reason, she qualifies to be a host for Mu.
Hmm.
So Gunko can be controlled temporarily by Mu, or even permanently by Mu if Mu so chooses to. But Vivi was also one of those candidates. That's why Emu wanted Vivi. Emu wanted Vivi because Emu right now is controlling Vivi's ancestor, Lily. And then by default, that would mean that Emu could have a viable host. Something of that sort. where that kind of work there. So it kind of like negates the idea of lost powers mattering here, and it's more like Orochimaru stuff where you need to host, let's say, every per I don't know 1,000 or some odd years, and that's moot. But that I think is more akin to that than let's say magic, where there's some sort of spell or incantation that they use, and then by doing so, they're able to, let's say, take over. Because normally in the story, like, think about it, like, magic has never been a thing in One Piece, like, ever. Like, ever. Like, no one's ever used magic in the first, like, ever in the story. Like, Imu would be the first person to do it if there actually was magic. But why is Imu only the one that can tap into the mana stream of the world or something like that? Because normally that doesn't exist. Normally there's no mana. There's no mana or magic in One Piece per se. Everything that's been magic has all been explained by other means, technology, different powers, Haki, stuff like that. Normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it could very well turn out to be a devil fruit.
Oh yeah.
I
for
just
sure.
think I just think it has to be something more, because this is coming like, just because of how wide of a range he has with the powers, or she has with the powers, to be able to
Not a
control
problem.
people, give the power to people to power them up. You know, it looks dope. And then, I mean, he transformed into something as well.
Right. Right. With that giant monster when Sabo pulled up. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean, so because it probably should be a fruit power because we'd hope so. Because if it's a fruit power, that means that BB can take that shit. I don't know if BB can take a non-fruit power. Like, I don't think BB can do that. Maybe? Maybe?
so
Yeah, BB. Go ahead.
where are you at with power scaling for One Piece, King?
Brother, Jesus, you know where I'm at. Like, you. What do you mean? What you mean? Uh, okay, I'll say
So
this though, right?
so so here, let me add.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
cook.
I just
Do
want
your
to
thing.
ask you a
Cook,
couple
cook,
questions, just a couple questions.
cook. Oh, my interrogation.
Um, yeah. It's just funny little banter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so how do you feel about the Admirals now? Do you change your tune on them at all?
No.
No, you
No.
still think they're pretty
No, they're good. No, well, okay. What?
still
Okay,
some
wait,
left to
wait,
be
wait.
desired, right?
Not really. Okay, so like, what do you think my tune is on the Admirals? Because I think I know your tune on the Admirals. What do you
Okay.
think my tune is on the Admirals?
So I think that you think that there's no admirals that can defeat a Yonko.
I used to, but then Buggy came to the mix. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, what am I saying?
Okay,
But Buggy's
okay.
Yonko.
Exclude Buggy. Exclude Buggy, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
Buggy's an outlier. But I think in general, right? You would say that um, that any admiral, past or present, that goes up against these Yonko, um, there's no chance that they would win, right? Am I wrong in saying that?
I mean, I'll probably say when I talk about Admirals, I talk about mainly just the Admirals. So I'm talking about like
Aokiji,
who's on.
Kizaru,
Yeah, pre-time to Aokiji, and I think
Akainu,
right, right, all of
um,
them.
Fuji, Green Bull. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't a kind I put on a higher tier. I give more so the Kainu's name. I would say
Okay.
that Kainu can probably beat Luffy now. That's what I'll say. Um, but I know folks don't like the idea. But I would say that Kainu can probably beat Luffy now. It's that because Luffy still has that really bad stamina issue. Um, I would have given him that nerf, I suppose. But if Luffy does have enough food in his stomach, it's gonna be a hard fight no matter what, no matter who he's fighting against. It's
Yeah.
just that Akainu, I kind of give him credit because I'm not gonna forget that Oda does glaze Akainu to high heaven. Like Oda glazes the shit out of this guy, so you have to respect it.
Hey, Josh Smith,
But outside
appreciate
of
the $2. My bad, King. Appreciate
oh
the
no,
$2. He said,
he's that.
did the paint girl from Broke Works use magic?
As far as you know, no, it's not magic. There's like some sort of what was it? I forgot what it was, but like what she did it's like she kind of painted something. Like it basically, it's like a version of like technology. That's what, as far as I understand it. Because I remember that ability. So I think it was Miss Golden. Was it Golden Week? No, I forgot her
It
name.
might have been
But
Miss Golden Week.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but she was able to paint like these symbols onto Luffy, and then Luffy kind of like lost his mind, or she had to he had to comply with all her stuff. Like it was some sort of like it was some version of hypnosis. But like we seen on Elbath, like with these rocks, they can actually paint massive rainbows that go on for like miles. So like you can paint things into existence and out of existence in One Piece. And that's part of technology. That's why it's like, uh, again, just when you look at the history of the story of One Piece, more often than not, when there's some sort of weird phenomenon that's going on, it's either a soul thing, a technology thing, or a power thing, whether it be Haki or whether it be different powers. Like, think about it. Like, Emu would probably be like the first person in the entire story to show magic, like genuine magic,
Yeah.
like wand and everything. It's like, really, magic, magic. I mean, because it's way too soon for it's too late for magic at this point in time in the story. I mean, that's what I think, though. I mean, I could be wrong. I won't deny that, but that's what I think.
Okay.
Miss Golden Week chat. Okay, yeah. It was hypnotism, pretty much. Yeah, but she's able to do that through her paintbrush. Through like I think it's a version of like some sort of technology that she utilized.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
But anyhow, back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
I think you.
Yeah, so the Admirals, yeah. So I kind of I put on a different level.
Yeah.
And I still think he could beat Luffy now, probably, maybe even Blackbeard too at this point in time. But that's it. I don't give Akainu that much more. Like I'll still say that Big Mom and Kaido are stronger than Akainu. That's what I personally say.
Okay.
But outside of that, I mean, like, I guess the question.
Well,
for you
that.
would be, like,
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Shoot.
yeah, like, yeah. Question for you is: do you think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru on Egghead Island?
Okay. This is what I'll tell you. Right. This is what I'll
Huh?
tell you. Um. I think that Luffy versus Kizaru was a big letdown. First and foremost. Okay.
Shit. All right.
Um.
Damn.
So for and let me explain. For Kizaru to be pretty much the admiral um that started the time skip, that kind of made that made Luffy, he kick-started Luffy realizing that, yo, we're too weak. We need to figure something out in 2 years, right?
Right.
So whenever that happens to the Straw Hats, they find out right then and there that they are not ready for the New World, right? So then we come into the New World. The first thing that we hear about coming into the New World is you either take the umbrella of a Yonko, or you constantly challenge a Yonko, or you take their umbrella and
Something
you
like that.
take their
Yeah.
protection, right?
Yeah.
So then we come to Luffy, right? And then yeah, we come to Luffy becoming a Yonko, okay, and being able to, obviously survive in the New World, okay.
Yeah. Right.
The first admiral that he comes across that is actually threatening them and that is actually there for the Straw Hats is Kizaru, okay. So
Mhm.
the same admiral that kickstarted their journey, to the 3D 2Y, right?
Right.
So for what I thought would have been great is if all of the Straw Hats get some get back, okay, and you have the Straw
Ooh, I like
Hats,
that.
10v. At the very least, all of the Straw Hats that were there during Sabaody, but fuck it, why leave some out? Let all of them get some. So
Mhm.
10v1 against Kizaru, and then the fight eventually phases into Luffy Kizaru, and then
Gotcha.
and then Luffy finishes him. Luffy gets a Haki bloom. There's and before this is a Beck chapter, okay, before this is the Beck shit came out, I thought that we were gonna find that someone in the present story was going to it was going to be publicized that they defeated an admiral, because up until this is a Beck chapter, we never heard of an admiral being defeated by a pirate. We've only heard of an admiral losing against an admiral.
Right, Akainu versus
Aokiji, exactly. Right. So, and what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that some Yonko haven't defeated.
You don't count Film Z with Zephyr, right?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, right? I'm not saying that some pirates haven't taken down an admiral before. What I'm saying is that it hasn't been publicized, or it wasn't publicized. So,
okay.
So until the Zebek stuff came into play, I thought that Luffy, Sabo, or Blackbeard were going to be the ones to do it. I think that they're still the highest candidates to defeat an admiral and it be publicized, right?
Okay.
So I thought that Luffy would take down Kizaru and Egghead. Because, I mean, if you have Yonko losing their positions, why not have admirals lose their positions as well? And it makes for the story.
Like, you can't, they're like super shiny Charizard. You just can't get one.
Yeah, it is.
It's hard to get an admiral.
Well, no, fuck that. It's not too hard because they did the draft and then they got 2 admirals.
Yeah, but you only got 2. Why not get like 5?
Because it's scarce, right? They needed to fill those positions. I get you.
Strong dudes.
But at that point, I don't think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru. But that's why I said you implement the Straw Hats 10v1, okay? And obviously, all of them aren't going to be able to do much to Kizaru. Like, you're going to have, obviously, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei that are going to be able to do something to Kizaru.
Right.
But you can still incorporate the other Straw Hats, just for the callback to Sabaody. I mean, it includes everybody that was there. You might as well and what I'll also say in regards to this, since you asked me, I feel like Saturn's presence completely deflated Kizaru.
Deflated it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Completely. 100%. Saturn's presence deflated Kizaru to me. I was like, bro, Kizaru should have been the big bad. The big bad guy. He should have been that guy. And then the way that the Gorosei all pulled up, that's how Saturn. Yeah, that's
all
how.
5 of them pulled up. Kizaru can't be the big bad guy.
No.
When all 5 of his bosses pull up.
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that Saturn deflated him, for me, because we're thinking like bro, you gotta remember. They went to the Navy headquarters and they showed us on a fucking on a cliffhanger that Kizaru left to go to Egghead.
Right.
And that he left without getting anybody's orders. He just went and did that. So it's like, yo.
Yeah, Saturn with him though. Saturn put up with him though.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying though, in hindsight, right? We didn't have any of that information that Saturn was with Kizaru at that point in time. At that point in time, it just seems like Kizaru is headed to Egghead because he knows that the Straw Hats are going to be there.
Okay.
That's what it seemed. That's how the picture was painted. Okay. So when we see Saturn and when Saturn's there, he's like, obviously, some people are going to say Saturn's stronger. I think Kizaru is stronger. I think that Kizaru is stronger, or that the Admirals are stronger than the Gorosei. My personal opinion.
All right. So, because what we're kind of going through right now, because I'm thinking about, because you just brought back a few things I thought were interesting, and I think I'm gonna try to get there's a root to all this. Chat, that's what he thinks. All right, chat. All right, listen.
What?
Matt just wants one. Okay, just real quick. So some guys are going right now in my chat.
Yeah.
Wants a 10v1, so he gets a reason to lean for Kizaru taking the L and still be stronger than Luffy. All right, listen, John. Pretty sure they don't know.
But can I speak to that? Can I speak to that, King? Can I speak to that?
Ahead, bro. We're here for that.
Yeah, bro. So listen. Did y'all not hear what I said about not all 10 people would be effective at all, and that the only point of the 10v1 is for the callback to Sabaody, right? So that the Straw Hats can show that they are a Yonko crew to the Admirals, right?
Right.
Specifically, the Admiral that stopped them on their journey. Okay. Then,
Like it'd be like commemorative, Chad, where it's like, hey, like every shred gets a pot shot on Kizaru. Not saying this actually be like like an actual major damage shot, but it's like every shred gets their own time to shine to prove to Kizaru that hey, we've gotten stronger, and here's how I've gotten stronger. And then we kind of scale up to Luffy going 1v1 against Kizaru after all the strides do a thing against Kizaru and show, okay, they have gotten a lot stronger. That's
yeah,
the idea.
yeah, it eventually fades over into Luffy versus Kizaru. And now I'll be the first one to say, I do think that Kizaru was stronger than Luffy in Egghead, but Luffy would have been able to pull the win off. I think
All right.
right now that it's a 50-50, right? With Luffy and an Admiral. Not named Akainu.
50-50 right now?
Yeah, Luffy right now with so like but obviously Luffy's the main character. He's going to win. I think if Luffy were to get into that one-on-one fight with Kizaru, it would be probably the like one of the hardest fights that he's ever had. Okay? Uh, Him or Kaido. Okay, easy.
I think
Easy,
I, I
right?
think I, I think I agree with you, but it's like, all right. Here's what I would say because I want to kind of get to like a root cause of this, or as to
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
say, yeah. I think that going into the arc, I think that Luffy was stronger than Kizaru, like off rip. I think he
Okay.
was stronger than him off rip, and the reason why I think is because now I would say this: it's not to the point where it's like he's that much stronger than Kizaru, but they're comparable and they can fight it out and they'd go bar for bar. But I think that Oda's kind of setting up something very important during Egghead Island, and that was removing. He was establishing the current rivals and removing the last rivals. So when you look at Luffy's rivals during the Yonko saga, his main two rivals were Law and Kid. And the way I kind of view was that when we, after Wano Country, we're going into the final part of the story,
Mhm.
and we would see Law lose to Blackbeard, we would see Kid lose to Shanks, but whoever Luffy fought against, Luffy would win. That's why Luffy would be establishing himself. That's why he was the emperor coming out of the saga, the
Yeah.
last saga. But Law and Kid were not the emperors. And
Yeah.
then what happens is that that was my thought process going into the arc, essentially. Where well, I guess like when we found out that we had B fight against Law and then Kid was pulling up on Shanks. And when Kizaru pulled up with like a super buster call, I said back then too, like Luffy's going to win. I did videos on this too. Like Luffy's going to fail. I mean, Luffy's going to win, where
Mhm.
Law and Kid are going to fail.
Right.
And I think that when you think about the idea of, let's say, bounties aren't power scaling metrics, but Oda did something weird where he gave every admiral a 3 billion berry bounty, and also Garp too.
Mhm.
Why did Oda fucking do that? I thought it was very strange because he's never done it before. Why just carte blanche give a certain position of power also a similar bounty across the board? And I think it was kind of Oda telling you that bounties don't necessarily mean power, but if you want to argue that every admiral is comparable in power to each other, that's fine. And also, if you want to say that other folks that are of the same caliber are also comparable to admirals, that's also fine too. So if you want to say that Kid, Law, Garp, Luffy, Kizaru, Greenwood, Fujitora were all around the same level of power, I don't think that's that far off to say. But there has to be some sort of like pecking order within that 3 billion berry sort of marker, right?
Yeah.
And because there's no other reason why Oda would do that. There's no other reason why Oda would give the rank of Admiral, which is a rank that's dictated specifically by power, 3 billion berries. You only become an Admiral if you're strong. If you're weak, not Admiral, stand down. The rank is based on power, specifically. So, take it like that, okay.
Yeah, but I would
Law and
say
Kid couldn't cut it.
I would say in this situation, right? I think like with Cross Guild and the bounties, is that they just gave the admirals a specific a specific bounty. Or so here
But
every admiral gets
but
3 bill no matter what.
sure,
I don't think
sure.
every Yonko is every Yonko isn't like that. That
No, no, I
just
agree. I agree. But I think the Oda, my surmise is that Oda did that to kind of showcase that people that are 3 billions are comparable to each other because the admiral rank is a rank that is specifically denoted by power. It is the only rank in the Marines where you need to be like X powerful to be an admiral. Because no admiral is weak. Like there's no admiral in history story that's weak. Green Bull's not weak. Fujitora's not weak by any measure. Nor is Kizaru. Nor is Akainu back in the day. Or Kizaru. Every admiral has to be strong by default. Momo, Pink Boar, and Momo and Chiton. What are they called?
Momosagi
Yeah,
and Chiton.
Momosagi and Momosagi and shit on. Whatever his fucking name is, I have no idea. These two, they didn't cut the drill because they weren't strong enough. They were not strong enough to be admirals. But Fujitora and Green Bull, they were strong enough.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
have to be strong to be an admiral, right? So all I'm trying to establish here is that going into it, you kind of like a few folks that are like in the same on paper, a
Hmm.
few folks that are in the same cauldron of power. You
Yeah.
have Kid, Law, you have Luffy, you have on paper, you have Garp, you have Kizaru, you have Fujitora and Greenbow.
Okay.
Luffy, I think, has to establish himself as like the leader of that because Luffy would win where Law and Kid failed. So, and also Garp loses too to Kuzan, who I put over Kizaru. So it's like Garp loses, I would say. Though you may want to, debate that, I suppose. Kid loses,
Nah, there's no debate on
Law
that.
loses, but Luffy wins. Luffy wins. And I think the biggest case here is that remember during the arc where I don't know if you want to take, the animators' words for it, where the animators say that, hey, like Kizaru, Luffy's not really trying to be Kizaru, but you can kind of tell during the arc where they're not really. He's focused on more so trying to save Vegapunk. Like the objective here is like, it's not a team deathmatch. It's a escort mission. That's what they're trying to do. And so Luffy's motive going to the arc, going to that point in time was, I want to save Vegapunk and get off the island, not necessarily beat Kizaru. And so, and I think that's why Kizaru himself was also kind of like funky too, because Kizaru, he really liked Vegapunk, obviously, like that. He was his friend. He didn't want to kill his friend. But Saturn, I think, took the sails out of his wind because he was trying to save Vegapunk, but that ultimately wasn't working. I think that's the idea, where Kizaru wanted to kind of save Vegapunk in some way, but because Jay was there, Jay just couldn't allow it to happen. Because Jay wanted to see him die no matter what.
Right.
And I think, and so that's the thing that Kizaru was kind of like deflated. He was very like uncertain about things. Even gives Luffy the food as a way of trying to save Vegapunk, save his friend. But ultimately, he had to commit to it because Jay he wanted him goring him with the leg anyway. But Luffy is also not committed to it either because Luffy is like, I just want to kind of protect Vegapunk and get him out of the island because that's what I promised. So, and again, the Victor Chansard, when he was talking to Brago, he mentioned how like, hey, like the director said this about he's not actually really trying to kill or fight Kizaru, which makes more sense to me because you kind of get that vibe in the arc, I thought. But then Kizaru arc is not going all out either. So they're kind of like not going both all out in some sense.
Yeah, I think both
But
of them, and I think Luffy didn't even use Luffy used Conqueror's coding against Kizaru with the Star Gun, but I don't think at any other time did Luffy
Right.
use Conqueror's coding.
But I would say like what changed for me definitively is like you could argue that Kizaru and Luffy, let's say, somewhat comparable, but fair enough, fine. But I think what changed was when we actually saw him at full power. I think I was like, okay, hold on, this is a whole different beast. When Luffy got that full stomach, I mean, like this guy went to Gear 5. Like the first time in the Gear 5, he ran through the Lavo Stratum barrier, took down from that stuff, and then grabbed Kizaru.
So, do
But
you think that we saw the full extent of Kizaru's abilities?
probably not. But I don't think it can compare to Luffy's full power. That's what I'm trying to get at here. We're like, like Kizaru, I don't think was going all out,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it was also he was holding back massively on the other side. So, like, let's say on a scale, let's say 1 to 10, Kizaru's probably like at an 8.
Okay,
or
let
like
me.
at a 7.
So
He's
let
not
me ask
at like
you.
a 2 or 3.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, just based off what you just said there, right? And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the rest of the admirals.
Sure.
So do you think that Kizaru was using, or here first, do you think that Kizaru is able to use advanced hockey techniques? Future Sight,
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think he
Rio,
is. Yeah, I mean, we see
all
him do that in Marineford, where
okay.
he does the real hockey where he's able to make the barrier out of thin air. I mean, oh yeah, he does that.
Okay, fair. Now let me ask you this: do you think that it is out of the realm of possibility for more than one admiral to have conquerors hockey?
At a time, probably not. I'll just give it to Akainu and just call it a day.
Okay, so you think Akainu was the only one, but
Yeah,
in the
because Sengoku
past,
was.
but in the past with Garp and Sengoku, you had two guys that were able to use conquerors.
Yeah, but they're the only two though. Like, we never hear about the other admirals of the past era. Like
That's fair.
the only admiral that matters is Kong's bitch ass. But Kong gets shit on by Garp himself. So it's like, yeah, like who cares? Like Kong he's not noteworthy at this point in time.
Okay.
Hope he never will be.
Okay.
But in today's era, you have three guys per like you have Akainu, Kuzan, and Kizaru. They have Kizaru, Fujitora, and Greenbull.
Yeah.
So you have three guys now, and I mean maybe you could argue even that they went maybe they had three admirals. Let's say back in the day they had two only because, but they added one more person because Rocks killed one off screen.
Yes. So
Maybe they
so
had to,
we'll
bolster their forces.
we'll come
But yeah,
we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, right?
all
So you said so. Do you think that Kizaru was using any of his advanced hockey techniques in this fight with Luffy?
yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you say
Just because we
po-
don't see it doesn't mean that he's not there. You know, like
yeah, that's
so
fair.
Oda.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'll accept that, or
yeah, yeah.
not. I'll accept it, but I agree.
Okay.
Like, just because we didn't see him use it doesn't mean that he didn't. But I would say in most cases, right? So like in the case of Luffy, against the Gorosei, right?
Mhm.
I don't think that he did, but I'm not gonna say that he didn't.
Yeah, because it's hard to gauge. So you know, how, like
Like
when
we
you
didn't
read
see it
Toriko,
happen,
so
right?
remember like when you read Toriko and Toriko, Michitochi gave you. He went out of his way to tell you like the details about like here's what's going on. Like here's like the ultimate routine. He's able to actually like manifest shit with the ultimate routine. Okay, like we get it. Like because they tell all the details. But Oda doesn't do that. Oda kind of a lot of times he's very vague about shit. Like he won't draw shit properly, or he'll jam pack the page full of text, and so it's kind of like they're doing stuff we can't really tell what's going on. You know, like Oda would do a lot of that, and so, but like will Oda show us every instance of someone using internal damage Rio Haki? No, I mean he didn't do that against Kaido. Like we just had to assume that he was doing that constantly against Kaido,
Correct.
but we didn't see every instance of like his bones like getting Haki-fied. And that did not happen. That did not happen.
No, it didn't. It didn't. So all I'm getting at is that I think we both can agree, right, that Kizaru was probably holding back a little bit on the use of his abilities. He didn't use the best abilities that he has access to. I don't think.
No, I agree. I agree. But that's why so I agree with you, but here's the problem. And the problem is that when Luffy's at like full power, so now he's at like a 9 or a 10, he immediately starts to change the environment around him. So even the surrounding water starts turning to rubber, and you have these big ships that are bouncing up into the air. And then he fights against Kizaru, who's going let's say like at like a 7,
Yeah.
and Jay, who's going at a 10 at the same time. Now, bro, like I don't know about you, but like the White Star gun was crazy. But when Luke was in giant form and he matrix dodged like Omega beams from Kizaru point blank, no, nah. There's no recovery from that.
Nah,
There's
I
no
get you.
recovery. There's no recovery. It's like, oh shit, like Luffy's when he's at a 9 or a 10, he really is something else crazy. And it's hard to vouch for Kizaru when Jay Garcia Saturn's there too, and he's going 1v2 against Jay and Kizaru, and he's coasting. It's like it's freakish. So that's why I understand the arguments, but I think that like with round 2, it's kind of really hard to say that Kizaru, who again I think is going at a 7 or an 8, he's not going all out, but he's still committed, especially now after Vegapunk got gored, but he's still committed nonetheless. He gets dunked on by Luffy. Like Luffy just like it's crazy. Like Luffy he was a true beast, man. Like it
Now,
wasn't
now
even a
listen,
contest,
listen.
honestly. I was like, oh shit.
I think that it would have been great for the story if Luffy would have beat Kizaru. I don't know though what that fight looks like and how what Luffy would have to do to pull out that dub. Because I think Kizaru is a monster. I think all of the admirals are monsters.
I agree, but
I think that
He's more of a monster. I think he solidified himself as being more of a monster, man. Like think
this
about
is
it,
what
man. Like,
I
this man, like he's like kaiju size. He's Godzilla size. Like I would argue that Dawn symbol is stronger than his White Star gun by orders of magnitude. And then Kizaru gets packed up. And then Jay gets packed up, but again, Jay, because he's going with the intent to kill. He's going at a 10 out of 10. He's committed to killing Luffy. So even if Kizaru's not, let's say Kizaru's at a 5 or a 6, even, which I'm probably not that low, but let's say he's at a 6, it's still also it's also multiplied by Jay's 10, or I guess add on by Jay's 10. So Luffy's going at a 9 or a 10, and then you have these two guys going at 16 or 17 at least total, but Luffy's still coasting. So it's like, to me, I have to give Luffy the edge. And again, based on how the story was structured, if Kid and Law lose, but Luffy wins, it kind of signifies that Luffy is at that point where he's worthy of being the Emperor, and then he's gonna move forward and deal with other Emperor type shit in the future, which we're seeing like play out right now. Because now we have to deal with Gunko Emu, right? Who could be like the final of the story. Like, oh shit. So it's like, but that's what Luffy's thing is though. Like Luffy is one of the same way we heard about Shanks, or we heard about Kaido or Big Mom, where like they're so powerful that they dominate a part of the sea. Luffy has territories like Wano country. He has Fishman Island, territories that Bartolomeo got him, and so on. The same way we heard about like, just Rosa, right? The same way we heard about, let's say, they have such powerful fighters on their crews that you can't really meet the Emperor. Like, it's very rare to meet the Emperor face to face. And then you have Luffy's crew that has Jinbei, Zoro, Sanji. You have these massive like armada of guys under his wing at beck and call, like Sabo and Leo. Like, not even him, but Sabo and Leo are doing his work in the Holy Land, right? So it's like Luffy's getting to that point now, and it feels like there's a reason why the Admirals haven't just ran through the Emperors, because they just can't. And Luffy's not getting to that point where it's like, yeah, I'm in this category too. So the only other Emperor, the only Admiral I give credence to is Akainu. But I think that when Luffy did what he did against Kizaru, I was like, not round 1, but round 2, I think it was way more clear. Round 1, you could argue, it's more like, especially after the whole food delivery shit. Okay, it's like, okay, Luffy, Kizaru is closer than I thought it'd be. But after round 2, I was like, no, Luffy's for sure stronger than Kizaru. Like, he for sure. Like, is it like a wash? Fuck no. But even if Kizaru does have awakening, let's say he awakens, he turns the entire area to, like, let's say, some sort of light prison or some shit like that. I think that Luffy's gonna have something in his bag to bypass that. He'll literally manifest a mirror into thin air and reflect the light that Kizaru is making away from him, and then he'll eat a few laser beams. He'll like barf out some sort of lightsaber, like he's a Star Wars character, and start like you can't tell me that you can't, like, when you see Luffy fight, you're like, bro, this guy can do damn near anything he wants to. The only thing that's pulling back his stamina. That's really it. I just can't give Kizaru that dub when Luffy was going so hard and was even giving Bonnie time to shine against Jay afterwards. I was like, yeah, this guy he's different.
No, I get you. I get you. What diff do you think that the Admirals lose to, like? So, anybody that I have in my top 10,
I took Extreme.
The way, okay, cool. Because I hear some people say like mid diff and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
I think Admirals are strong. All right, I know Wing Zero's crying right now, but I think the Admirals are strong. It's just that the Admirals, like, Kizaru's beating for sure every other Straw Hat in the crew 1v1 without a doubt, right?
Yeah. What difficulty do you think that he's doing that? How easily do you think that he does that? Like, where do you think the Admirals fare against?
They're all mid diffs to high diffs.
Okay.
But Luffy's beating Kizaru high diff to extreme diff probably.
Okay.
That's all I said.
Okay.
1v1.
That's
I
fair.
think
That's
that
fair. I'm not
yeah,
mad at that. I'll like
yeah.
if now see when if somebody says, "Hey, I think that all Yonko are stronger than Admirals," but every fight is extreme high diff, then cool, whatever. I'm not mad at that. I'm not gonna
Well, hold
argue
on.
with
I
that.
say just for Luffy.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
yeah. I
Luffy's still
get you.
weaker
I get
than
you.
yeah, because FYI for everyone watching in because my chat knows I think at least by now, but for everyone watching in match chat, I think that Luffy is weaker than Big Mom now. Kaido now. He's not on that level yet. Come in to Elbath, you could argue, okay, maybe he's on that level. But I think he's still a ways away from actually being on that level. So if Big Mom fights with Kizaru, that's like a mid to high diff on her end, because she's a stronger emperor than Luffy is. Same for Kaido. If it's Shanks, don't even get me started. Don't even get me fucking started on Shanks. Don't even test me. Nah, niggas. Don't even test me on Shanks. I'm
So
bad.
so me personally, right? I think that anybody in the top 10. So if you go against so let's say if it's 10 versus 1, right? I think anybody in that top 10 is minimum high diff with everybody on the list.
Nah, maybe, but also no. Well, hold on. Who's in your top 10? I guess that's the question.
So I got Dragon, Shanks, Mihawk, um who else do I have in there? Akainu, Kaido, Big Mom,
Mm.
Kuzan. I think I have. Yeah, I think I have
Blackbeard?
Sabo. Oh yeah, Blackbeard for
Yo,
sure.
Sabo in the top 10? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'd say Sabo. I got Sabo and Luffy like right next to each other. So wherever you got Luffy at, or
Okay.
wherever I put Luffy at, I'm putting Sabo right there, either above or under him. Because I think Sabo is gonna show us. I think Sabo is gonna shock us, like when we see him fight again, or when we
Mm-hmm.
finally see him fight.
In earnest,
I
right. Full
yeah
on 1v1 fight, yeah.
yeah I think it's gonna be different. And I think that in my perfect world, right, with my head canon, I think like Sabo would defeat a couple of the Holy Knights to like
Okay.
as a little flex,
Okay.
right, before he has a like major fight.
Because I do glaze Sabo up too, for sure. Though I don't know if at the point, because I think that Luffy kind of surpassed Sabo a minute ago, but I see what you're saying for sure.
I think
Because,
Luffy
okay,
passed. I think Luffy surpassed Sabo with Gear Fifth. I think that's when he did it. But
I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I do. I kind of agree with you.
and
Um,
let me tell you where I think Sabo's at, or where my mind is on Sabo. I think Sabo was first commander level before he ate the fruit.
I fuck with that.
Before he ate the fruit,
I fuck with
the
that. I
the
do.
way that the fact that he was using advanced Haki that early in the series, that said
Hmm.
enough for me, right? So then he gets the fruit. First thing that we see him doing, outside of Dressrosa, is training with the fruit.
Right.
So by the time that he eats the fruit, I think that he's like knocking on the door to Admiral level, but he would lose to every Admiral.
Okay. I fuck with that.
Okay. After he eats the fruit and trains with the fruit, he gets into a fight with an Admiral again,
Hmm.
then it's 50-50. Same as I said with Luffy. Like it could be a
Okay.
hockey.
So I got.
It could be
So
a
was
hockey
this is like
bloom.
Gear 5 Luffy? Or this is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
pre Gear
yeah,
5? Okay.
yeah.
This is
So
Gear
this
5
is
Luffy
like
then.
Gear Five Luffy, and then same thing I would say like Sabo with the train Marimara no Mi, or Sabo with the
Okay.
Marimara no Mi, right? Like pre or post Dressrosa.
Okay.
Okay, so
Pre or
that
post. Okay.
yeah, so
Because I have Sabo really high up too. Not as high as you, but I do have Sabo, I think, even higher than Fujitora and Grebo at this point in time. Because Sabo's been actively trained for his powers, like constantly. And you can kind of see that when he fought against Emu for a second, where like he didn't even know what the hell he was doing, really, with the Marimar no Mi when he first got it in
yeah,
Dressrosa. Now, like a few months later, he's doing like rook checks and he's doing like his fire is able to like track the ground, like aim at Emu directly, and shit like that. So okay, so he's gotten a lot better with his powers, like substantially so. Um, and there's that line where Shanks does say, and I think Zoro too in the pre-time skit where they say like don't underestimate like our growth rate. Like they do grow at a very fast rate overall. So I'm down with that for sure, without a doubt. I really am. But I mean, would you say that if Mihawk were to beat Sabo, which I think he would that be a high diff fight at least on Mihawk's part? So Mihawk just couldn't coast through Sabo. Sabo
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
Mihawk would be an
yeah.
actual hard
High,
fight for Mihawk to
it
get
would
that
it would be a high diff at the very least for sure.
W. Okay.
But I feel like I feel like that would be the case for anybody. I feel like if it's Shanks, if it's Akainu, if it's Mihawk, if it's if it's Dragon, yeah, if it's Dragon too, if it's Dragon too, right? Like they're all that. Yeah, that's my boy. They're all high diffs. Okay.
I think that there's a chance we argue that the number 1 versus number 10 could be a mid diff. Like, I feel like, so I think my number 1 is Shanks. My number 10, I think, is Kuzan.
Okay.
I think Kuzan could get mid diff by Shanks. I think it's very, very possible.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Sure. Bro, I think there's no way that happens.
Honestly, I think it's possible for someone like Kaido too. I'll keep it a stack with you. I think that Kaido, Emu, Shanks could maybe mid diff Kuzan to fight.
See, now, I feel like Shanks.
Case, but I feel like particularly more so for Emu and for Shanks, for those two, like a full power Emu versus a full power Kuzan, or full power Shanks versus full power Kuzan. I think there's a possibility. I'm not saying it's the case. That they could get mid diff. Yes.
See, I feel like Shanks versus Kaido, right? I think Shanks 100% wins that. Like there's like, if you have them fight 10 out of 10, I think Shanks wins every single time on that one.
But I don't think it's easy for Shanks. I think that's more like a high to extreme. Nah,
I don't think it's easy. I think it's a high diff.
Yeah, I think a high diff for Kaido for sure.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's high for sure.
Kaido's like in he's in like my Mount Rushmore still. Personally speaking, but okay. I think that guys like, because I guess it depends on how Oda wants to really do this. Because we even have Kuzan holding back against Garp, but we see what he's done before in the past with Punk Hazard and the full-on fight against Akainu for 10 days, 10 nights. The problem though is that,
man, we gotta address that. We gotta address that. We gotta address that, and we gotta keep it. No. I'm saying us, like we gotta keep it a stack on that, right? That was purely hype purposes. That was all hype. I don't put it like so. Let me say this, right? Because
did they take a nap? Like take a nap during the fight?
No, not necessarily. No, not necessarily that, right? But what I'll hear people say is like that their stats, their endurance and their durability is insane because of that. And I don't think that that's something that we should be like throwing in there for like their overall stats and fighting, because we don't know the outcome. We don't know.
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, so I don't like when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, their stamina is probably the craziest out of anybody in any of the top tiers because they fought for 10 days straight." And it's like
Jinbei and Ace did that.
Correct. They fought for 5 days straight.
5 days, yeah.
And then Big Mom and Kaido fought for 3 days. I don't think that they were fighting for 3 days, literally, because like look at yeah. They said they were fighting for. I believe they said they were fighting for 3 days.
I forget, but I remember they were fighting. But I forgot 3 days ago. Okay.
So look at Luffy and Kaido, right? We'll never see a fight pan out for that long on screen, like that's actually happening in real time. Kaido and Luffy didn't even fight for a full day.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. It's like showing a fight last for like that long. I think for Oda's, like he did with Katakuri, he may not want to do it again, but he does do high purposes. I think the idea for Oda is just saying, hey, these guys are this strong compared to one another. Like they're almost equal, essentially. At least back then, where you get like I'll say that Kuzan is back then almost as strong as Akainu. Like they're neck and neck, but probably this day I'll probably give kind of like the lead because he won the fight and then Kuzan lost the limbs. But at the same time, Kuzan's probably still very, very strong. He's still probably top 10 worthy. But I'll probably put like Akainu at like let's say number 6 or number 7, and then I put Kuzan number 10 or number 9, right? So like that's something like I think some situation is fair between the two because Akainu won the fight, but they should be close, relatively speaking. You know, just how like you'd argue that Law and Kid should be close in power, relatively speaking. Even though I lead in favor of Law, I would say that just by default, kind of Kid has to kind of be near Law, because that's the parallel that Oda's really doing there between those 3 guys.
Yeah, I lean in favor of Law, but they're close for sure. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I,
don't think there's
I don't think
anything
it's a
wrong with
bad thing
that.
to say that but I don't think it's a bad thing to say at this point in time that yeah, like especially narratively speaking, right? Narratively speaking, the emperors matter more to the story than the admirals do because the emperors are the people that are vying for the treasure first and foremost. At least the current emperors, whereas the admirals are just they're just the top henchmen of the world government and the marines. That's really it.
Well,
Like narratively
I don't
speaking,
think that Luffy's gonna fight another Yonko outside of Blackbeard.
I think if I look at Shanks, either or,
I don't think so.
or probably both. Honestly, I think that because I think that there's a chance. At this point, at this stage, probably honestly on Last Tale. Same thing for BB2. I think right now we're kind of leaning in the direction of having a 4v4. I mean, yeah, a 4-way free for all between the top crews
Bro,
on Last Tale or near Last
Blackbeard
Tale.
is putting Shanks in a box, bro.
Nah, nah,
Blackbeard is
nah,
putting Shanks in a box.
nah,
He's packing
nah.
him up, bro. He's getting him
He's
out of
not.
here.
He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not.
He
I think Oda. I think Oda has glazed Shanks to the point where he's comparable to Joy Boy and Haki. I don't know what the fuck is going. Like Oda is glazing this guy because he's the author insert. You think that the author insert character is gonna get boxed up? He's gonna get off screen. He's gonna get like watched up? No, that's not possible. The author insert he's goated. Like I thought it was as clear as crystal. He's the only character in the story so far to have comparable anything to Joy Boy. The shit that Emu got fucked up with, like, and what we may see Luffy utilize in this arc, Shanks has that, bro. Shanks has that. Like, what the fuck? Nah, dude. Like, it's, and then they already said before. I think I think it's canon too, because Oda actually co-signed that the stuff for Volume 4 Billion for the film Red shit. Shanks has Haki where he can actually shut down Future Sight. Like what the? He can stop Future Sight with this Haki, huh? Huh?
Nah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
listen,
That's nutty. That's nutty.
look, like here's like the number like best case scenario for Shanks at this point in time. What we saw happen with Kid, he could do to the Admiral. Like, full bar.
No,
Bro,
no,
full
no,
bar.
King. King. That's too
Hey,
far.
bro.
That's too far. That's too far. You think that he is one shot in an
I
Admiral?
said that's the best case scenario, sir. Best case.
Okay, best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
He can
one swing, one divine departure, and Green Bull, Fujitora, maybe even Kizaru, packed up.
Bro, you
right?
really think so?
I said best case.
Okay,
right?
so best case.
I go by gradients, right? Like people, like there's like when you power scale, at least when I power scale, you have to kind of give like a window here. You just have to go like at worst, at best. You know, that's what I'm kind of doing here. And
Okay, that's fair.
At best, like he's literally one-shotting an Admiral. Now, and the only reason why you want to buy that is if we buy the idea that in terms of power levels, that bounty does mean something because Oda established it that way. You could argue, which is a fair argument, but. And honestly, you could argue when it's not canon, but we saw it happen in Film Red with two admirals. They're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Let's retreat. Oh, what? Come on! So listen, I'm not saying that Shanks for certain 100% could do this, but if Oda does make that happen in the future for some weird reason, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because, hey, we already kind of had some signs showcasing that. Because here's my take over Shanks. Shanks, I think, is potentially gapping characters right now in the story. But only Luffy and Blackbeard are allowed to catch up to Shanks, essentially, in the story in the top picking order. Because Shanks is just that nuts, that powerful. And I know that means a lot for the Mihawk guys, but Mihawk is strong. Just, Shanks is in a whole different strata right now. Because Oda makes it so where like you have to have Joy Boy level shit to compete with Shanks. Joy Boy level shit, like mythical shit, dude.
Do you think that like Shanks is in a whole nother tier than Mihawk?
A whole nother tier. I mean,
like
they're both in the top 10, but Shanks is the Mount Rushmore. So yeah.
So
Because
you
like
think
I'll argue the
Shanks could mid diff to?
nah, I say high diff just out of respect, but
Okay.
I don't know because like I feel like a high diff. Like again, I agree with you. Like if you're in the top 10, it should be a high difficulty fight amongst all the top 10 guys within the top 10, I guess. But if the number 10, number 1 seeds fight each other, I would expect the number 10 seed to win. And it should be like probably it probably should be a 4-game sweep. Maybe a gentleman's sweep? Maybe? But and so like, that's where okay, the high difficulty fight, okay, you get 1 W and then you still losing 5. Alright, fine. But that's how it's kind of like the 1 versus the 10, right? That's what I kind of see it as. But that's out of respect. Because I don't want to necessarily say that fuck me, John. I don't want to get into Mihawk right now, bro. Fuck, man.
Nah, we don't have to stay here. We don't have to stay here on Mihawk. Like
I,
I get tired of talking about Mihawk as well
I get very tired about talking
because
about Mihawk. I really
it's
do.
just hard to it's very hard to talk about Mihawk because he has some, so little feats, right? But I
He
will
has
say
feet.
what I will say is that some of the feats that he does have, or some of the things he does have, some people put more stake into it than others. Like some people will say the Black Blade doesn't mean shit, and I say it means something just based off the simple fact that only 2 people in the entire One Piece verse, the story, have had Black Blades, and one of them lived, centuries ago. And the other is
But
alive right now.
then we have to bring the idea of okay, well, hold on, but what is the Black Blade?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
does
yeah,
that
yeah.
mean?
I
What does
know.
that do?
I know that's
Right.
I know that that's what people are going to say. They're going to say, "What is a black blade?" Well, my retort to that, my retort to it is, "Hey, look, I can only go based off of what I know in the series, right? What I see, right?
Right.
So until I get some more information, I can't really give you an answer to that. But what I can say for sure is that it is something special, at least because he is the only person in the verse that has it. The only one.
But, I mean, well, alive. Yes, that's true.
The
Of course.
only one
But-
alive. And the other one, we have to add context to it. The other one, centuries ago, was the last time that he was alive. And he was called the Sword God.
Well, no, I guess no. Technically, I guess no. That's not necessarily true. Technically, it's anyone can have a Black Blade, according to what Mihawk said. But like a true Black Blade, where like the rank stays permanently risen, that is unique to Mihawk right now. Yes, that is. He's the only one that can do that.
Well, yes,
But, like,
yes.
all we know is that, like, the
Everybody
sword
can do
ranks
it.
up.
Everybody
Yeah,
can do it.
Anyone can have a Black Blade. They have Haki. Yes, anyone can have a Black Blade. Anyone.
Yes,
But
anybody
the
can do it, but
permanent one, that's unique.
Mihawk is the one that has it, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like so when you look at like Katakuri, okay, whenever he first comes up, right? He has fucking observation Haki that's out of this world. He has advanced observation Haki, future sight. He was the only person in the series that had that, so we knew right off the bat that it was special, that it was something different.
Right, compared to like the standard that Oda had established back then, correct, without a doubt. Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
his show was like I'm able to see like a few seconds to the future, like guaranteed. Like,
Correct.
oh, okay, that's we don't see someone at least really do that at that point in time, other than Katakuri,
Correct.
I think.
So what I'm saying in terms of like the Black Blade, or like there are a couple of things that I can zone in on as far as Mihawk that like should count for something, and he should be in the same area, in the same realm that Dragon is in. Like we've seen enough.
Sure.
We've seen enough to know that he's not fucking around. And that when we do see it, and the only reason that
Wait,
Mihawk and Dragon, like we've seen enough from them, and we've heard enough, right? Because I think that in a series like One Piece, narrative statements matter just as much as feats do.
Yeah, but you have to. But those are all interpreted like very, very oddly. So like, I would say like Mihawk actually is fucking around for the most part. Like Mihawk, because he doesn't care. Like Mihawk doesn't care because he's waiting for that one person to give him that oomph, that pizzazz, that feeling again. Whereas like and so that's like Mihawk is he's basically a hermit. He kind of wants to just chill and do his own thing. He's waiting to either die or
Mm-hmm.
waiting for someone to take his spot as the world's number one greatest swordsman, strongest swordsman. But outside of that, it's like okay, well Mihawk he has the black blade, which is like a rare thing, but even still within the world, the paradigm of the story, anyone can have a black blade if they put enough Haki in their sword. So I was like, okay, but are his blade special because he is permanently black? For sure. But special in what ways, we don't necessarily know. But even still, it's like, well, is that enough to actually put him, let's say, in the Mount Rushmore paradigm? Like, so, for example, we know that Rox didn't have a black blade. But Rox being an admiral off screen, I would say is a better indication of his power than having a black blade, no?
Yeah, that is a better feat than having a black blade because that's an actual combat feat. But
As far as you know, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
so like,
there's no that's like that's I'm not even gonna sit and think on that, right? But what I will say in regards to that is you don't we don't know the full context behind Rox and the Admiral, but I would say
oh,
just the mere fact that he killed an Admiral, he succeeded in defeating an Admiral, killing an Admiral, and it was publicized. That is one of the best feats in the entire series, bar
yeah, I'd
none.
agree. I'd agree. Yeah, I'd
Bar
agree.
none
For
is
sure,
one of the
without a doubt.
best feats
It's
in the
crazy.
series. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's nuts.
Um,
Actually, crazy. Yeah. But it's like
so
I think also like in terms of narrative too, just keep, but like people's motives and their intentions also matter to like their power in some sense. Like I agree with you, whether they are incorporated into like how strong someone is in the story One Piece. But that's what also probably the reason why you can't necessarily. I think you can't necessarily raise Mihawk really like in the Mount Rushmore tier because Mihawk's narratives right now just waiting to lose to Zoro. Nothing about the character really. I mean, I think it was very, very clear when Oda gave us that page at the end of chapter 1121, when like you see what I think are Oda's prime moves of the story moving forward, and Mihawk is not a prime mover. He's irrelevant in like the and like right here I'm showing on screen too. In this crazy double page spread, which I think is like the most important panel we've seen in like a very long time. You see all these faces. You see the Emperor's Sea. You see Akainu. You see Dragon,
yeah,
Imu, Sabo. You see Kuzan. You see Garling, Sabo. Maybe Figurland Garling. Shamrock. You see, so all these folks are gonna be prime moves for the story. Mihawk is nowhere in sight. Mihawk is under Buggy's watch. He's under Buggy's keep. So it's like,
yeah. I think that was just solely to show about the One Piece.
no. I think it's way deeper than that. I think it's, at least I'd argue this. I think that this is actually telling us that moving forward in the final saga, these people are the most important characters in the story.
Yeah,
Like literally, like Akainu, Sabo, Dragon, probably Shamrock, Emu, Kobe, Kuzan, Garling, Buggy, Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks. These are the most important characters in the story moving forward because they're going to shape and they're going to change the world as we know it. That's what I think Oda was doing here. These guys specifically, because this panel is just too important. I think like, Oda, I think is doing a lot with this panel, a lot, and it makes the most sense because Luffy's treasure is of course like thing that's going to change the world. And you have the fleet, but at the same time, no. I'm still what I said before. It's just that with Mihawk, whatever Buggy does is going to be his ultimate play, and Mihawk has no other ambitions really. Like after what happened with Shanks, whatever happened to this person, he lost his ambitions. He lost, and that's an important part of being powerful. Your ambition,
yeah,
your
your
will,
ambition.
right?
Yeah,
And Mihawk doesn't have any of that.
it would seem so. I mean, I think
Like,
once we
remember,
get,
real quick, because it came to my mind. Remember when Mihawk was hyped as hell when the Marines pulled up? Like, he was like, oh shit, it's been a hell of a long time. Yeah. And then the next time we see Mihawk, he wants to leave. He's fucking bored. Like, what happened to his fervor? What happened to his, like, his desire to fight against the Marines? Like, what happened there? Like,
it got
just
off screened.
disappears. Either that or he just lost interest because he does lose interest so quickly.
Yeah, but I would argue, and I would say that Mihawk has already achieved his ambition.
I mean, maybe because we don't know his past, but
Yeah, I would
the
say that
guy,
he's
he's like a
already
zombie.
achieved. I would say he already achieved his ambition. I just think Mihawk suffers from not being on screen. I think once he is like once it's
Come on.
finally that time, then it'll be
Yeah, but like,
good.
what's that time to lose
Shit.
to Zoro?
Yeah, it is to lose to Zoro
Like, imagine
for
that a
sure,
character
for
only
sure.
exists to just losing to the secondary main character or the second member of the tribe pirates, Zoro. That's all he exists. He just exists to lose to Zoro.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree.
Like you cannot tell me that Mihawk has like the same level of depth, the same level of story movement as someone like Shanks.
No, he
There's just
doesn't.
no way.
He doesn't. Not comparing him to Shanks is crazy.
He's just there to die.
In terms of his relevance to the story, I don't think that anyone would argue that Mihawk is as important to the narrative as Shanks is.
But I think that's also indicative of like because people over here like Kobe, we know is gonna be really really strong in the future. Garling, I think probably could be the Mount Rushmore. I'm keeping it sack. Shamrock, I think is probably gonna be in the like maybe either Admiral or like above Admiral level. You could argue. Kuzan's already at that point too. Sabo may even surpass Dragon in the future in terms of power. Akainu's like the best marine on the planet, and they have all the emperors outside of Buggy, but he's gonna be on Laugh Tale probably. So outside of these emperors, like Mihawk, I think not being here, I think is a clear indication of Oda's intent of the character, and that is he's gonna maybe be a part of some buggy raid or that kind of shit, and that's really it. You know, like if they do raid Impel down, and they get Doflamingo, let's say they get Weevil, you're gonna see Mihawk in there do some stunts, kick ass, and then he's out. That's it. End of story. And he's gonna be bored again. I want to go back home, cut my nails, watch the sky, drink some coffee, eat a magazine, and that's it. Like Mihawk doesn't have that ambition, dude, which is so important for like the end game of the story. So that's Mihawk.
I think I think when we see Mihawk in action and everything, that tune will change. I mean, I can't really say anything to that right now because it just is what it is. He doesn't. It would
For Zoro,
appear that he
yeah.
doesn't have any ambition other than to lose. Other than to like right now, his ambition is in contingent upon someone else. Like someone else
True.
has to show up that's stronger for him to be fulfilled now. Or at this point. So yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that. Like it is what it is. I think he's still very very strong. I think he's like
No one's denying
definitely
that. No one's denying that. Yeah.
I think he's in top
Like
five easily.
no. That's the thing. I think the Mount Rushmore players have to be people like at least all of them so far are people of great like the highest standing or ambition. So Emu's already king of the world. Shanks is already a character that has probably some of the highest moves in the story, and the prime, like maybe like the primest mover of the story right now among the emperors at least. Then I'll probably put. I think Kaido's still alive, honestly. So I think Kaido is probably still up there as well. We already saw his whole M schemes and Big Mom, Or let's see one switching around. Let's see one put. Let's say some like Frigga Garling. Garling. If Garling is stronger than Mihawk, I'm not surprised. Not one iota.
No, I would be
Because
surprised.
Garling is making. I would say that Garling is probably the number two in the entire Marine/Rogami ecosystem. He may be stronger than Akainu. On God,
I don't think he's stronger than
Garling,
Akainu.
bro. I think he could be. I think. Oh,
I think I
absolutely,
think I think
absolutely, he
Akai
could
I
be.
think
Yeah.
Akainu is another character. I say top five no matter what.
I would say I think he's either top five or he's straddling the top five. I think he is, but I'm not. But Garling, I think, kind of fucks up his jib a little bit.
I
I think
think
that Garling,
Dragon,
because like,
Mihawk, and Akainu are top five
I
for
would say
me.
something real quick you're not gonna like.
What's
I
up?
think that there's a good, there's probably a good chance that Luke's gonna be stronger than Dragon coming in Elbaf. I'm gonna keep it sack, bro.
Uh,
Dragon, listen, like
it
I have
depends.
Dragon
It
stocks, not a
depends
lot,
what
but
they. It depends what they do. It depends what Oda decides to do with them. But I'm not. I mean, listen, Dragon stock is very very low right now. I'm not.
no, it's gone up for sure because you have what's going on in the Holy Land. Folks say it could be Dragon. he's made his moves. It's just that
People saying it could be
you
Dragon
want to
or
see Dragon actually in
Blackbeard.
the front lines. Well, I think because listen, I'll keep it a sec. If it's Blackbeard that's forcing Emu to make all these sudden moves, I'm raising Blackbeard to top fucking 3, and I'm dropping Emu down to top fucking 6
Bro,
because I
listen.
don't want to hear shit about Emu. If Blackbeard is the reason, not Dragon and Blackbeard, just Blackbeard, just Blackbeard. No.
Bro, it would
What?
be pretty dope, right? If Luffy is fighting Gunko Emu while Blackbeard is fighting regular Emu. Or clashing with regular Emu.
I fuck with that, but Blackbeard and his
I mean
boys
I
are
think
forcing all the Holy Knights to mobilize. When you have also the 5 Elders and Garling up there, and you have CP0, no. It's gotta be Dragon 2.
I think it would be
Dude,
I think it would
what?
be too much. It would be too much if it was Blackbeard, like just Blackbeard, and I think it makes more sense for it to be Dragon. So I'll concede it probably is Dragon, but
Because I could buy that. I just can't buy like it's just Dragon and the Blackbeard Pirates, and that force alone is causing. I mean, because again, like what happened to the Holy Knights? I mean, what happened to the other Holy Knights? What happened to the 5 Elders themselves? What happened to CP0? What happened to also, there should be, I think, 2 admirals up there at least, or maybe that's in Reverie. But there should be at least 1 admiral up there too. So you have either Akainu or you have Fujitoro, or I mean, no, Fujitoro I think is actually banned. So you have either Akainu or Greenbow up there as well. And he's still doing this?
nah, I don't think I don't think that an admiral would be there. I think whoever it is got the jump
Really?
on, yeah, got the drop on him, and it'd probably be too late by the time that an admiral were to get there. But the Holy Land is just right above the Marine headquarters, so maybe
All
they could
right,
get there
that's fair.
quick. But
That's fair.
obviously the two choices are Dragon or Blackbeard. I'd put my money on it being Dragon.
Yeah, I can buy that for sure. Or maybe both at the same time. I think it's more likely to.
Bro, both at the
Um,
same time is insane.
yeah. Well, but like you have again 5 elders plus Garling. You got Shamrock and other Holy Knights.
Like I
You
just
have
think it
maybe
would
an
be
admiral
too
potentially.
early.
You
I
know,
think this would be too early for Blackbeard to invade the
too
Holy
early.
Land. Yeah.
But aren't we like the final stretch? If you're right, we have 3 arcs left. It's not too early.
Well, nah, I'm saying, to circle back to our conversation about Blackbeard getting the ancient weapons, I think that Blackbeard makes that move once he has the ancient weapons.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I
So
understand.
he makes that move to marry Joa after the fact.
Yeah, okay, I could buy that. I could buy that. I mean, I don't think get all of them, but I mean, maybe just one at the most. I don't think it's get Shiraoshi though. I see what you're saying. I follow you.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Blackbeard will end up, taking Emu out however it happens, and he'll be sitting on that throne all by himself.
yeah, for the most part. And then what's gonna be odd too is that if there is a sort of like part assimilation type thing, then because he should have access to all the Gunner forces, then he would have access to Garling, he'd have access to all the Holy Knights, he'd have access to CP0,
Yep.
access to even the 5 Elders, and so all that falls under the Blackbeard umbrella. And then he would again. I think it's to use that power to just go, to get the treasure. Ultimately, that's what I think. So he has to use that because the treasure is that important. Like the One Piece treasure is the single most important thing in the story right now. It is like the cream of the crop. That's what I think. Leave.
See, I
Hold up.
think it's gonna be
Hold up.
Luffy with the One Piece, Blackbeard with all of the ancient weapons.
Shit. Whoa. Okay.
And everybody that donated, I appreciate you. I didn't. I wasn't able to read the last one, but I got a couple of donations, so thank you to everybody that decided to donate.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of donuts. I got a lot of donuts too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Much obliged.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So well, yeah. So it is 2 o'clock. You feeling good or what's up?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I mean, I was probably gonna wrap things up.
All right, no, that's cool, man.
Like,
That's cool, man.
yeah, I was probably gonna wrap things up here soon. I mean,
Just I
this.
would say probably okay. I would say if there's any donations you want to get to, and and then let's say the question for me, and then I'll do the same thing for you. So let's say any questions for you, we'll read those donations, and then we just kind of wrap it up like that. Sound
Oh
good?
yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So I had a couple of donations. It was one from Dream saying for everybody to like the stream. I can't remember the other one that I saw.
Like the
I'm not.
streams,
Yeah, like the
true, nah,
streams.
streams most definitely.
Yeah, like the streams. If anybody on my comments or in the chat has a question for King, go ahead and shoot it, and I'll try to sort through the best one.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do some too. So I think there's one person that's saying, um, you have. Well, I mean, I guess they're for me, but let me see. I'm trying to find ones that have you in there too. Can you? Okay, here we go. So John says, can you ask Matt if Kizaru is beating Kaido in Wano country?
Ask Matt if Kizaru
Yeah,
is
he wants to
beating
know if
Kaido.
yeah, would Kizaru beat Kaido in Wano country?
Hmm. Would Kizaru beat Kaido? Hmm.
And
So
then another
I have a
person. Oh,
funny I
okay.
have a funny way of like looking at these things, right? Is like I think to myself, if we put Kizaru in the same position that we put Kaido in, how does he fares?
Wait, so you put Kizaru up against
Put him up
Luffy,
against the
Kid,
we'll,
Law,
we'll
Zoro,
we'll first put him up against the
Scabbards?
Scabbards. Yeah, first put him up against the Scabbards, and how easily does he deal with them? How does he deal with them? I think that he deals with them a lot easier than Kaido does,
Really?
just because of the way his powers work. Solely
You
based
think
on the way that his powers work. So
can he do
he
as
would
much
be.
damage to them as Kaido could to them?
I mean, I don't think Kizaru was struggling to do damage to them. Like bro, he is kicking the shit out of all of those dudes, bro.
I mean, I don't deny that, but at the same time, I don't know if it'd be easier than Kaido. I mean, I guess his Kaido was in gigantic dragon form most of the time, so he took the attacks deliberately in some sense. I guess you can argue that. That's fair.
Yeah. Kaido was
Um,
definitely taking
yeah.
some of those attacks deliberately.
All right. Fair
Not to
enough.
say that he couldn't die. I'm not gonna go into if he could have dodged them or not or any of that. But I do not believe that Kizaru would be sitting there willingly taking attacks. So I think
No,
that he would.
no. The
I
question would be
think
like, okay, like, I guess the question is through their own merit, can they actually get shots off of Kizaru? That's the question, I guess.
I don't think they would be getting as many shots off on Kizaru as they did on Kaido. I don't.
I can say like one. No, well, I can say like one or two. Like I'm like or one or two or three. Only because like he's a speed type person, so it's gonna
Yeah,
be hard to deal with that. But you know, the Scabbards are they're not weak. I mean, shit. Inu and Echo should be as strong as third division commanders or I guess second division commanders. So if you have like two of those guys, so let's see, yeah. So let's say Inu and Echo, maybe Kinemon and Denjiro can maybe get a shot off or two or three maybe, but yeah, nothing substantial. I
I
get that.
think I think Inu and Neko are only as strong as like third commanders fully.
Inu and Echo. Okay.
Fully
Oh, with
when they're in
With
Sulong.
Sulong.
Yes,
Yeah.
I say that their ceiling is third commander.
I'd probably say second one because like they destroyed Jack and Sparrow when they went off. So they got destroyed, annihilated. So last year's thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Maybe we could talk about them being on second commander level, but
All right.
and then here I'll say this too, right? So uh, for commander level, right? And we may end up going a little bit longer. Who knows? But I do not think there's a big difference between second and third, to where I would say every second commander is better than every third commander. I think second and third are pretty much interchangeable, and I think where there starts to become like a gap in separation is the first commanders and the second and third.
I see what you're saying. I'm not too sure necessarily because I think that for Big Mom and for Kaido, it gets a bit different there because their crews are based on that. But let's say for Whitebeard's crew, I can't necessarily tell you who the number third is after Marco. Like Ace would be, but then Ace died. So would that be now Vista? Would that be Jozu? Because Jozu's number 3.
Yeah, so it's
maybe
Marco.
yeah.
So it's Marco. Then it's Ace. Then I say it's Jozu. Then Vista.
Marco. Okay, because I think
That's the
folks
way
have
that it was
probably
presented to me, or that like that's
yeah,
how
no,
I
I'd agree.
feel it was presented.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it gets a little bit tricky because Vista's tricky. He's fucking tricky, man. This guy, I don't know where to go with this guy, but yeah, I can buy that. I'm not against the idea.
But to answer the guy's question, right? As far as like, do I think Kizaru beats Kaido? No, I like because I just there's too many things on Kizaru that are like a question mark. Like, does Kizaru have advanced Conqueror's Haki? If you ask me, I say yes. But I can understand why people would say
Really,
no. Yeah, I say yes.
you think that Kizaru has advanced Conqueror's hockey?
Bro, I think that I think that it is more it would be more um crazy for an admiral not to have Conqueror's Haki,
Yeah,
Conqueror's coding than for them
Kainu.
to have it.
Kainu's your boy, not
Nah, nah,
Kizaru.
nah. So look. Check it out, right? So here, let's do this. Go to chapter 717 or 718, right? Whenever Don Chinjao was talking with Luffy, okay?
Seven
And
seventeen.
yeah, I think it's like
I'm here
717.
to I'm here to join the Kizaru agenda.
I think it's like
Uh,
717,
okay.
718, right? Um,
717, 718. Okay.
so in this chapter, Don Chinjao, Luffy says, or I think Don Chinjao is asking Luffy like, what kind of king do you want to be, or it's after their conquerors clash, right? And then Luffy tells him he wants to be the king of the pirates, and then Don Chinjao says, do you think that you can beat the four Yonko and the Navy admirals and reign over those supreme kings? He specifically refers to them as supreme kings, Yonko and Admiral.
Okay. I mean,
So
I see what you're saying, but
so with that being stated, right? I'm not saying that every single admiral has Conqueror's Haki, but I think that it would be crazy for only one to have Conqueror's Haki.
well, I mean, remember that during his era, we had Garbus and Goku who both have Conqueror's hockey.
Correct.
But the problem is that when we look at what we know about the Marines right now, there is no Marine that has any signs of Conqueror's hockey. Not even and this is important too. Like Kuzan, who outrank higher than Kizaru, never used Conqueror's hockey at all when he fought against Garb, and he has. If he has it, then he should have used it against Garb.
Well, I would say that
Instead,
he did.
when he
I would
but when
say
instead, hold
I would
on,
say
time
he
out, brother.
did.
Like
Yeah, go
when
ahead.
we see Conqueror's hockey clashes between, when we see the fight between Kuzan and Garb,
Hmm.
when Garb has a Conqueror's hockey attack, Kuzan uses the ice glove in combination with arm and hockey. That's how he's able to counter and match the Conqueror's hockey attack. He stacks his different power with his hockey. That's what he does. Like what Katakuri does with his blocked mochi, but he does for his ice gloves. Like same thing there. So
Yeah.
that's able to match. But you're saying no, he has Conqueror's hockey. He just chose not to use it against
Well,
Garb.
I think that whenever they did that clash, when he did that punch, I think that he was using Conqueror's Haki there. The Black Lightning was coming off both of them, right? Um,
I think it was happening because of the explosion, but
yeah,
wait,
I
I
think
don't
that's
think
as a
we get
result.
that he has Conqueror's hockey. No, I don't think we got that at all. Because normally Oda would tell you, okay, he has Conqueror's hockey, because you can't tell from that at all if he has any mention of Conqueror's hockey. Like, at
No,
all.
you can't.
Same thing goes for Blackbeard. Like we have no idea. We see both lightning, but we don't know if he has any Conqueror's hockey at all.
I mean, I
So
would say that Blackbeard is definitely a conqueror.
I'm not too
Absolutely,
sure.
for
I'm not
sure.
too sure.
Blackbeard is for sure a conqueror.
I think he could be like definitely. I think he could be more deathwood centric rather than actually be a conqueror. I mean, even when we see the bolts come from the water, when he tries to attack Law underneath the water, and the submarine, those bolts aren't officially categorized as Conqueror Haki books. They're not of the same type. They're not the same thickness or whatever you want to call it. Like Oda kind of, again, like it's weird with Oda, but you can't necessarily say that they are. So
maybe they work differently underwater.
As far as you know, no. It's just Haki. It's just like the idea is that with Oda, it's inconsistent. But I mean,
yes, it's very very inconsistent.
Yeah,
it's very inconsistent.
I would just say like until we get confirmation, I would not say that Kuzan has any Kagasaki in the slightest. Because again, if you have the ice, why not just punch with Kagasaki? If you have Kagasaki infusion, in the same way that Garb does, instead use Ice Glove and Armor Haki that you see him stack, and then they trade blows. I don't see Kagasaki at all on that punch. So,
well, I think no matter how I think no matter how Aokiji does it, he's gonna stack Haki with his Devil Fruit, Conqueror's coding or not. He's gonna stack it with his Devil Fruit because it's just gonna make it that much more potent. I think Oda definitely needs to do a better job at displaying Conqueror's Haki. Needs to stop this nonsense of sandbagging these characters or like not showing characters using their full abilities for whatever reason.
But at the same time, like I wouldn't necessarily give characters abilities that they don't necessarily, or that doesn't make any sense for them to have right now. It's like we've seen Kizaru in a situation where he should use Kagasaki, but he does use Kagasaki. But then we kind of make excuse. Well, actually, he doesn't need to show at this point in time because he's not trying. Well, hold on now. It's like, well, yeah, but like that's like me kind of saying, well, Luffy has infusion and doesn't use it most like as Kizaru. That person's not using it at all.
Well, what about
weak or some shit?
What about Luffy?
Well, like Fujitora has it too, but like it's like, wait, are we?
What about Luffy not using it against the Gorosei?
I think he did.
I don't think he did.
I think he did. I think he used it against in the Gorosei.
The reason why I say
that's why I say.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like if it doesn't show up on screen, dude, and then how can I?
Then you can chalk it up. Then you chalk it up again to Oda being inconsistent.
Yeah, but if it doesn't happen, if we don't see it, then it doesn't happen. That's more so what I'm getting at.
But the difference here, the key difference here is that we know Luffy has Kagasaki. We're just speculating if Kizaru has it or not, and there's no signs or evidence of that. Like I would assume that he has Awakening because Akainu and Kuzan have Awakening, so I would assume he has it too. But that's my speculation.
Cosmic Cookie, time, it's either 717 or 716. My bad, King.
But he may not have it at all. Because again, I think Kizaru he's not going all out, but he's not going at 10% either when he fights this Luffy. He's going like probably like a moderate, like again, I'm 70% or 8% against Luffy. But I don't think he's holding back to the point where it's negligible. Obviously not, clearly not. That'd be dumb. So I would say again, like even if it is like not all out Conqueror's Haki, any signs of Conqueror's Haki that could be utilized, whether it be Kuzan who could have knocked out a lot of the Marines with Conqueror's Haki Pulse, or let's say Kizaru blocked me with Conqueror's Haki to fend off more of Luffy's attacks. You know, like there's nothing there for these two guys, let alone for Fujitora and Greenbull, let alone those two. I mean, shit, Greenbull, I think when Greenbull got fucked up by Shik's Conqueror's Haki.
I think Fujitora is probably the Admiral with the highest chance to have it. Outside of Akainu.
He kind of would be, actually, like low-key, but,
to be honest, if Fujitora actually had Conqueror's Haki all this time, why didn't he do anything versus Dofi's fucking cage during Dressrosa? He could have done some major damage if he actually had Conqueror's Haki, but he didn't.
Well, I mean that's like anybody that we see. Why didn't Whitebeard use it? Why didn't all of these other people use it way back in the past when we saw them? I think Fujitora. It was very clear he wanted the pirates to get rid of the pirates. It would be pretty hypocritical of him to be working for the government and take out Dofi. Take out a Shichibukai, yeah.
Yeah, but like the problem is that that's the pre-time skips. Like pre-time skip situations, I want to apply to the post-time skip. Because post-time skip, Kagasaki is way more prevalent in the story.
We are talking post-time. We are talking.
No. I mean, like Whitebeard not using that, like Haki with Whitebeard back in Marine Corps.
Okay.
That's like something tired. Like maybe he tried to, but he couldn't because of his age. That's possible,
Not only his age, but we know
that he has it because we saw obviously in the pre-time skip. I mean, in the Odin flashback, we see him fight against Roger and he uses it. So yeah. Okay, and then also let me see here. I guess the same person has another donation for you. He's like, okay, what's the Ram theory about like what if Zunisha is Davy Jones? I don't know that one. We'll
Hmm.
move from that one.
No,
That's yeah.
no, no.
And then ask Matt if Yonko Commander 1 is greatly over Yonko Commander 2, which equals number 3.
What?
If that applies for the Straw Hats. He wants to know if your system of Yonko, if your Yonko Commander system applies to the Straw Hats.
So Zoro would be the Yonko Commander 1, and then Jinbei would be 2 or would be 3.
Who's number 2?
Sanji.
That's what it is.
Over Usopp?
Yes.
All right, Reverend, get out of here, bro. Where you going? All right, Reverend, get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. All right, we're trying to do this right.
Yeah, over Usopp for sure.
What the fuck was that? Okay. All right.
So Zoro, I say Zoro definitely is definitely over Jinbei and Sanji to me,
Okay.
like without a question.
I mean, you know how I feel about that one, but okay.
Yeah, I know how you
Yeah.
feel, but I think that it's still a difficult fight for him on both fronts.
Okay. There you go.
High diff
Well,
at
but do you think
least.
that? Wait. But you also want to know. Okay, but you're saying that Yonko Commander 2 is stronger than Yonko Commander 3, not equal to.
I would say they're interchangeable.
For the Straw Hats?
I would say is so. I think that Sanji is stronger than Jinbei, but I think that Jinbei and well, no, actually, in this case, to me, it would be Sanji and Zoro would be closer in strength to each other than Jinbei and Sanji. So
Okay.
Sanji is closer to Zoro than he is than Jinbei is closer to Sanji.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, I know people. I think they're equal, but that's my take on that one. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Reverend's being a bit cheeky. I know. Don't take that serious. Reverend's being cheeky. And then Darkfed says, "Is this for you? Let me see here. At 60% power, Kizaru was so depressed, unclear justice. He wanted to call out of its sick day. He feeds Luffy too. He was holding back. Um, well, okay, so I guess that's for me. I'm not sure. But yeah, basically, I understand the idea. I would say he's at 70 or like 80. I don't think he's at 60. And again, him being unclear just is kind of like, yeah, he's obviously uncertain what he's doing because he's trying to kill his friend, but he has to follow his orders. But at the same time, again, like Luffy's also holding back too. Like he's not trying to beat Kizaru. He's trying to just help Vegapunks. He's not also at 90 or 100 either. He's not at that Togoro like 80%. He's all black, fucking rippling muscles and shit. Like nah, he's at 70 or 62 because the objectives of both these guys is different. But they're also not holding. They're not going all out up until I think Luffy has the food. But it's like even if you do have a max power, holding back Kizaru, it doesn't really matter at that point in time because you have a max power Jigga Saturn, and so you have a 2v1, and it's like okay, well shit, and Luffy's still like dunking, he's nuts. That's it. That's that thing. All right, but yeah, that's all the donuts for you. That I can see right now. Anything for me over there, or no? We good?
No, I don't have any donos.
All right.
They not fucking with us no more.
All right. Now we have to get back into this more often
Yeah, for
as
sure.
groups, and then they'll start fucking with us, all right? Because we're doing this at like what? We started at 12 or something.
Yeah, yeah. We
We
started.
started hella late, man.
Let's see. We started 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours ago. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
late.
so,
I was pretty fucking late. I was
yeah.
trying
I
to
was
get
yapping for a
everybody.
minute, but that was really it. I was just yapping for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was trying to get everybody together in the household and stuff. But nah, man.
I got you.
I appreciate you doing this with me, King.
No, it's good shit. It was a really
We
fun time actually. Like really going over it for sure.
we definitely got to get back to it. Like just doing these discussions because like One Piece is literally the last of a dying breed. Like once One Piece ends, we're not gonna have a long running shonen series or a long running series that has um, a chapter drop Okay, a new chapter drop and a new episode drop in the same week. We're not gonna get
I
that
think you're right.
anymore.
Yeah,
One Piece is
because
the last of its kind.
I don't know if you follow like any other like mainstream shonen shows, but like the way we talk about One Piece and the way we talk about like even back in the day Naruto and Bleach, I don't see that same sort of like gathering for Sakamoto Days or for um uh let's say Kagurabachi or like I don't see that same sort of fervor for that for the shonens that are coming up now. Um,
Yeah,
which is I mean, maybe like that time is over. Who the hell really knows? But you are right. Well, like people just commit more to One Piece because you kind of have to if you want to understand the story, and so because of the commitment, you kind of want to share that. Whereas, and also it's crazy because like I think a lot of these shonens are even like ending too. Like and they're like newer stream shonens, and One Piece is still gonna be going on for God knows how many more years. So
yep.
I think yeah, I think you're right. Where we do need to kind of communicate, and we do need to do more of this kind of stuff because we only have what between 5 to 10 years left. So what's up?
Yeah, bro, it's between 5 to 10 years, man. Like whatever you're trying to get out of this, and like I just want to leave YouTube with something. Like I really it bothered me a lot, right, this year that I lost my
Mm.
like I lost my monetization
Oh, you did?
after
Shit.
yeah. So after 10 years, right, of like I started my YouTube channel in 2012, okay, and
Uh,
then wasn't really posting on in 2012. It was like August of 2012.
uh.
Oh shit.
You okay? Did you
Yeah.
get choked out? In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Yeah, I'm good. My bad.
All right.
Um
Shit.
so so I wasn't really posting in 2012, and then 2013 comes around,
Mm.
and then I start posting heavy. Get a thousand subs in less than a year, right? And I was
Right, right.
kind of just like, cool, whatever. So I never applied for monetization. I applied for monetization in 2015 once I linked up with Brago, and Brago
Oh,
like
okay.
pulled
Some years,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, Brago pulled me out of the shadows. I was eligible for monetization,
Yeah.
so then I started monetizing my shit. Well, I lost, all my years of like being inconsistent and popping in, popping out, popping in, popping out.
Right.
Um, I finally lost my monetization this year, and with the stream that I told you about that I just randomly did, I got my monetization back just based off of that stream.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so that kind of, and then once I got my monetization back, it did like a whole like welcome back thing, and then it said it was my 10-year anniversary of like being monetized. So that was
Yeah.
fucking insane. Like like these things happen for a reason, and I think that shit just was like, it just
It
put
woke you
things
back
into
up. Like, oh,
perspective. Yeah, it put things into
yeah.
perspective for me. I want to leave this knowing that I did something with it. Like the fact that I hadn't streamed in like almost a year, and I streamed and I had over 300 viewers, like that shit was
Hmm.
kind of on my mind. It was on the forefront of my mind for a while. Like holy shit, like people really want to listen to me talk about fucking One Piece, or One
Yeah.
Piece has just gotten that popular to where at fucking 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning people want to hear people talking
Right.
about One Piece,
Like we have a few cats between both Twitch and YouTube on my end, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. So it's like okay, like people pulling up. So yeah, because like the story has gotten bigger. I mean, people now enjoy it through different mediums, like or because there's so many different ways to enjoy it now, live action, video games. Like things that matter that didn't exist back then, or it's not in the same degree. And I think that you're kind of realizing, oh shit, like I'm interested in the story now because that's the most important thing. Like you like what's going on right now in the story, and then you wanted to talk about it, and then all the cats you had kind of like in storage starting to come back in. Like, oh wait, shit, the people are still here waiting for me to yap about One Piece. Oh, bet. So
yeah.
it kind of makes you feel like yeah, like you feel pretty good about that shit. Absolutely,
Nah, it
absolutely.
does, man. And like, bro, like I said, man, just seeing that and realizing that it was like not to say I was just making crazy money off of YouTube or anything, but just to see that like it got taken away, it literally just put everything into perspective, and I just was thinking like, damn. I remember when I
Locked
came
in.
into this community, I really just wanted a place where I could talk to people, about the things that were going on in my head, and I just wanted to have some people to talk about with One Piece. I remember I was streaming when I didn't have fucking 10 viewers, and I
Mm-hmm.
was streaming every day, just talking, making videos, doing all of that.
The
And now,
struggle life, yes,
yeah,
sir.
exactly, the struggle. And then now, I'm
The manga
uncontent.
main life. Let's go.
and 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 now I get pissed off if I don't have at least 100 viewers like watching my stream or something, and it just kind of put everything into perspective for me, because like that was the days like where it was like, okay, I'm doing this shit because I love it. I'm doing it because I just want to talk to people about fucking One Piece.
hmm
um but yeah,
Not fuck with
man,
that.
I like, bro, thank you for doing this, and we'll do some
Yeah, no
more.
doubt.
We'll do some more for
Absolute.
sure. It's always a good time when we get together and talk, bro. Um,
Absolute, bro. No doubt.
like
No doubt.
always,
All
we've
right.
been doing this for years now at this point.
Yeah, no, this is a good time for sure, and we'll try and set up more of this in the future. I have events come out in the future. They're gonna be like not necessarily One Piece stuff, but like other stuff. Um, we do have a wrestling event coming out in the future. We do have so maybe some IRL convos if we're gonna be around IRL. For like expos and that kind of stuff. Because I'm focusing on other things. I'm focusing on a lot more, let's say, gaming content and doing a lot more streams in general. But
Yeah,
like not necessarily all One Piece. I'm kind of doing things like for read throughs. I'm gonna probably read all of Vinland Saga on stream from beginning to end. I'm gonna probably do now that's over. I'm probably do a lot of, let's say, things for other series that folks want to check out. So I'm doing a lot of content for sure, without a doubt. So um, but yeah, we're gonna probably do more of this because I really want to get like everyone together too. So let's say
yeah,
there's a convo or let's say some sort of event. It'd be kind of cool for sure, without a doubt.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So King, before I let you go, Wallace has one question for you. He donated $5.
Shoot,
Appreciate you, Wallace.
hey, shoot, let's go.
He said, "Yo, what does Oda have to do to make you put Mihawk over Shanks?"
What else Oda have to do? He has to come to my house and then he has to talk to me in English and say, "Hey, Mihawk is stronger than Shanks." If he does that, then I believe him. And it can't be any imposter. No lookalike. No, I need Oda.
Hey, yo.
Like he has to have that floating avatar over his face when he comes in, like on some like good shit, like on some god tier shit. He has to come in like that. Like I'm Oda. Mihawk is stronger than One Piece. If he comes in with that energy,
Then you'll do it.
yeah, I'll do it. I'll
Hey,
make a video that same day
bro, that's hilarious.
with him by my side.
Well, you heard it
Here's
here.
Oda. Here's what he said.
You heard it here first, man. You heard it here first.
Ah,
Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all for supporting, and we'll be back at some point this week.
no
Peace out.
doubt.
Peace out.
Peace. All right, man. I'm gonna still be on going on my stream, but I'm gonna catch you when I catch you, bro. All right, this is good.